Before we get going, for the new viewers, my name is Brando, founder of Brandlux Media. We are an e-commerce growth agency specialized in paid advertising, content creation, email marketing, and conversion rate optimization. If you're looking for a growth partner and you want a free audit, feel free to book a call down below. Now let's get going. Welcome to this video. I'm really excited that you decided to click on this video. As you can probably tell from the headline or just by looking at the timestamps under the description, I'm sure that you've noticed that this is a 4+ hour training. Okay, so before we start getting into all of the content and before you actually start consuming everything, I want to do 3 things with you before we start. Okay, number 1, I want to kind of give you some context and explain why I'm doing this in the first place, so you understand my motivations and why I decided to share all of this condensed into all in one video. Number 2, I want to show you some actual proof so you understand and have a little bit more of context behind what I do, what is my experience, what type of caliber of clients I've been able to work with. Okay, so you can see some of the results with your own eyes and you can actually understand why I'm qualified to speak about these things and make these types of trainings. And number 3, I honestly want to do a very quick agreement between you and I before you start consuming all of this, quite frankly, heavy content, because I go through a lot of different topics and some videos are very in-depth. And so before you start consuming everything, I just want to do a very quick agreement between you and I so that we're all good and expectations are aligned. So let's start with promise number 1. Why am I doing this in the first place? As you can tell, this is a long training, and to be fully transparent with you, it took a lot of hours, resources, time, team members to put everything together. And not only from a video production standpoint, that is not why I needed my team members, but it's mostly coming up with ideas, with case studies, building SOPs, building resources, right? So that you guys can access and get some value from. So why am I doing this in the first place? First of all, I feel obligated. I feel literally obligated to document everything that I have been going through over the last 7 years. Okay, for context, for those of you who don't know me, I've been in the space for 7 years. I've been able to work with over 100+ e-commerce brands, both done for you service, meaning we did the service for them, and also consulting. And so I've just had the luck, opportunity, call it whatever you want, to work with so many different businesses that I've had so much information and access to SOPs, systems, infrastructures that work. And at the same time, I've had the opportunity to see businesses that did not do as well, or learn and understand why businesses succeed and fail. What are the trends? And so what I've been able to discover is pretty much a blueprint and a pattern, which is what I want to do in this video and share with you so that you can avoid these mistakes. And if I can help you avoid 1, 2, 3, whatever the number is, numbers of mistakes that I have done, or my team members have done, or my clients have done, then that alone will be a success for me. Because I think that if you go through a journey and you document the journey, right, and you share all of the advice and all of the information that you've learned so far, and it can just help one person literally change either their business or their life or both, that alone is for me an achievement in life. And I hope that you can be appreciative of this video, and I hope you actually consume all of it, because I put a lot of time and effort into it and there's a lot of valuable information. Great, now that we got that out of the way, let me actually fulfill on my second promise, which is to show you some of our track record, show you what type of caliber of clients we've been working with, and pretty much give you an understanding of the level of experience that I have and why I'm qualified to do these trainings. These are just some of our clients, just to give you an understanding. This client is doing $140,000 a month with a 30% growth month over month. We've worked also with clients doing $1 million a month, like this one. This other client also doing $1.1 million in the last 30 days. We've had other clients scale literally from like $2,000 a day all the way up to $30,000 a day. So very, very aggressive scaling, timelines, let's call them. And then of course other businesses like this one, maybe a little bit larger and bigger and more established, doing 10, 11, 12 million dollars a year, these numbers. And of course, let me just refresh so this is real. And nothing, I just wanted to share this before we get into anything else. I think it's important that you understand the context behind my experience before going and consuming all of the rest of the content. Last but not least, let's talk about point number 3, okay, which is a small little agreement between you and I. Now, personally, from my personal experience, going after 3, 4, 5, whatever, 10 hours worth of content can be very heavy, confusing, and can put you in a spot where you don't know where to start and what to do, okay? So what I want you to do, first of all, is focus and put all of your devices away for just a couple hours, okay? And focus on every topic that I speak about in this video. And you can watch the whole thing all at once if you want. Instead of watching a Netflix movie, maybe you just watch my entire training. But the one thing that I need you to promise me is that you go back from square one, go through it, and actually take action and implement on the things that I'm about to tell you and that you're about to see in this video, okay? Because nothing matters if you consume the information and you do nothing about it. And I know that you're smart enough to know that, probably because you clicked on this video and you're a smart person. But I just wanted to remind you, because sometimes when I go through some trainings, or I still want to learn about e-commerce or other things, I still kind of forget to actually take action immediately. So this is just a reminder, because I care and I want you to leverage this training in the best possible way. Go through the training, focus, don't have any whatever iPods, iPads around you, phone devices, just focus on one thing and take action. Okay, so hopefully you will fulfill on this promise, this little small agreement between you and I before we start the training. And with no further ado, I hope you enjoy. One last quick thing before we get going, I just wanted to give you a quick disclaimer. All of the documents, the trainings, the SOPs, the templates that you see in this training are reserved for my community. So if you want and you're interested in joining that, you can do so by clicking the link down below. It's right under the description. And what is this community? It's just a very small vetted community of e-commerce entrepreneurs. You get access to a bunch of SOPs, templates, including the ones that are in this video, plus way more, which are the same exact SOPs and systems that we've built internally at my agency, my company. And on a side note, you also get access to my time, weekly coaching calls, weekly group coaching calls to network, exchange ideas, and just win. We're all about sharing information and resources so that we can all help each other out. On a side note, one last thing, if you actually have an e-commerce business and you just want a free consultation, a free audit, you can actually just book a call down below. And if you qualify for the call, you will either speak with me or one of my team members, and then we can take it from there. With no further ado, this time for real, welcome to the training, and I hope you really enjoy this one. I put my heart into it, and let's get going. What I'm going to do here is tell you the major difference between a 6-figure e-commerce brand and a 7+ figure e-commerce brand. And I cannot stress this enough because it's a very repeatable thing that I'm seeing. It's like every single time, and I speak to a lot of I'm quite fortunate to have worked and spoken to a lot of e-commerce brand owners, people that are making 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, and up to 9 figures, okay? So I've literally been able to see why things work and why things don't work in the first place. So this is what I want to talk about. This is a 6-figure business, okay? Let's just say the 6-figure business is promoting one product. And from that one product, they have a marketing angle. Okay, so let's just say when I say marketing angle, I basically mean there's one selling proposition to one type of persona, right? For those of you who don't know, when you're selling a product, there's many different ways of selling a product, right? You can sell to a different group, age, you can sell with a different pain, with a different problem, with a different solution. There's literally many ways to do this. But let's just say that this figure e-commerce brand owner is focusing on marketing angle, let's just call it marketing angle 1, okay? And from here, they're testing interests and they're focusing on their ad account and they're testing a couple of ads, okay? So this is typically the problem. I'm not sure if you recognize why this is a problem, but it's a huge problem. And it's probably for a couple of reasons. First of all, they're limiting their proof of concept of one product, right? Just from one marketing angle. And typically what this type of business owner focuses on is things like the ad account structure, right? They start having conversations and asking people, okay, what is the best ad account structure to get the best results? Or is it ABO, or is it CBO, or is it Advantage Shopping Plus campaign, or is it this, or is it that? And so what happens is that when you're focusing on the wrong things, you can't grow your business. It's actually very simple. And the reason why the ad account structure is the wrong thing to focus on, and this is an example, right? The ad account structure is because what drives a business is sales, marketing, persuasion, product, creative, right? A sales funnel, adding upsells, downsells, retention, like that is what makes or breaks a business. And what I'm seeing is that a lot of people just get a product, they test one angle, they test a couple interests, they test a couple ads, and then they just give up and it doesn't work. Okay, now let me just give you the exact same scenario, but what a 7-figure business does. Okay, so you kind of see the perspective. And when I'm showing you this other, quick diagram that I created, it's not an exaggeration. It's actually the truth of how these things happen. So this is the exact same type of diagram, but this business, let me just scroll out, is doing a similar thing, but across, I would say, 50 more marketing angles, 10x the amount of ads per interest or per concept that they want to test. And on top of that, they're gathering so much data, right? And of course, I'm not saying that you have to do this from day one, but it's a never-ending process. And as you move on, right, start getting sales, start breaking even, eventually you're going to get to a point where you can sustain a higher ad spend so that you can gather more data. And what ends up happening here is that they are able to gather data and then identify winning product market fits a lot more easily compared to a business that just does this. Because a business that just does this and is able to crack the code is lucky, guys. Like if you own a, if you're doing $10,000 a day and this is all you're doing, consider yourself lucky. If you try and do the same thing with another business, I can almost guarantee that it's just not going to work. You're just going to need more groundwork. You need to do more work and more, figure out more things. It's not this easy, okay? And let's quickly dive into what the differences here are. How you should view this, and this is maybe an incentive for you to test multiple marketing angles, is that each marketing angle should be a percentage of your cash flow. So see it like this. If you test one marketing angle, you have only X limit. Okay, let's just say that marketing angle, the best marketing angle that you can ever nail, just gets you to 50K a month. Okay, what the 7-figure business will do is it will eventually find the 50K per month angle, but it will also find complementary and secondary angles that generate an extra 10K profitably, right? And not all angles can be scaled, right? Once again, when I say angles, hopefully you let me know in the comments if you don't understand exactly what I mean, but I mean the way that you present the product, what solutions you're selling, what problems you're selling, what age range you're going after. Are you going after the 25 to 50-year-old, from 50 to 70-year-old? Like that's the approach in which you, the strategy in which you approach your market is considered a marketing angle. That's what I mean by marketing angle. So what the 7-figure business is able to do is find multiple marketing angles and then stack cash flow from these individual marketing angles. And so eventually what's going to happen, as I told you before, is that everything is going to stack, right? And first of all, like one other thing, these brands go broad. Okay, these 7-figure brands, they target as broad as possible. What I've noticed, that the 6-figure businesses don't really try to do too much of a broad audience. They try to be a lot more technical and focus on the ad account, but they just lack creative input. And guys, creative input is the exact reason why you're able to scale in the first place. You're not able to scale if you don't beat other competitors from a creative perspective, right? I cannot stress this enough. I've worked with dropshippers or brands that sell extremely saturated products, like extremely saturated products, right? But the reason why they beat their competitors is literally because they test more unique and unsaturated marketing angles, right? And at the same time, they just completely obliterate the competition from a creative perspective, meaning they actually give a fuck about branding, about marketing, sorry, not about marketing, about branding, about the quality of the UGC video, about testing multiple UGC creators, about repurposing their entire content library to do unique concepts. Like that's how in depth they go. And to be honest with you, every single time we onboard a client, the first 3 months of the collaboration is purely a marketing angle and creative collaboration. That's where like 70 to 80% of our time actually goes to, right? We're 12 team members in my team, and over half of my team members have a creative experience, just because it's mandatory within my company, and it's mandatory to actually grow and get results. So what I wanted to say, I was saying, why do these companies go broad? These 7-figure brands go broad because they understand the importance and they understand where this new generation of media buying is going, right? Why did Facebook introduce Advantage Shopping Plus campaign? Why? Same thing with Google, right? And if it's not happening in Pinterest or whatever, it's eventually going to happen in Pinterest or in Snapchat or whatever, TikTok. Every single platform is going to have eventually, and most platforms do, just like Meta, a strategy where you just tell them what age to target, what countries to target, and they will do it all. And I actually just ran an analysis on most of our clients, and the campaigns that work the best are the broad campaigns, where we just give the AI or give the platform as much liberty as possible. And where the focus goes, once again, not to repeat myself, it's creative. And this is the exact reason why they go broad. Completely broad, very broad interest, or just completely open targeting, open targeting, and they just fully go all in on creatives, right? They test 10 times more. So the reason why a business is doing $1,000 compared to 10,000, 20,000 dollars a day is literally because they probably test 10 to 20 to 50 to 100 times less concepts, and that's probably why. Okay, and as I said before, there's nothing better than to have a compounding effect, right? Where you test so many things. You test so many different concepts that then you can just put everything together. You combine the best marketing angles, as I show in this scenario over here. You combine the best marketing angles with the best winning ads, and that's where you can create that extra cash flow that is extremely profitable and scalable, right? This is how you do it. And guess what? They don't do it on one product. They do the same exact process on multiple other products, and that's how they expand. Okay, so this concept over here generates $1 million. Guess what? They are able to do this exact same thing 10 to 20 other times or more, right? So this is a short video, guys, but I just wanted to give you a very visual representation, because I've spoken about these things in the past, but I've never actually showed you visually how it looks like, okay? And I think this is really the reason why people are not able to scale. They're just very, very lazy. And if this, if it was that easy, everybody would do it. If it was literally this easy, every single fucking person would do it. Everyone. Okay, but it's not. And once again, if you're able to get success with this infrastructure, consider yourself lucky. Okay, so once again, this is my humble opinion. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. This was a short, quick, fun video. Hopefully, it helped you kind of like understand and give you perspective on maybe what you're doing and what is the potential that you could be doing, right? And I can once again reassure you, this is probably the only thing that I can purely guarantee. If you set up your business like this, first of all, you're set up for success, and second of all, I can guarantee you it's going to do better than what you're doing over here. Okay, it's maybe going to require more time, right, more effort, but it's 1000%, an advantage. And by the way, I'm not saying that you have to do all these things at once. This would be extremely expensive. I'm just saying that when you start with marketing angle 1, go in depth, actually do a product market awareness research. Okay, do the things that other people are not doing. Okay, if people are going right, you go left. And this is where the companies, this is the 1%, this is the 0.1%, this is what they're doing. And once again, everything that comes out of my mouth because I've actually seen it with my own eyes. Okay, that's it for this video. I'm gonna stop ranting about this topic. It's a just very at heart topic because, I know I've been able to work with a lot of clients. Fortunately, I've had that privilege, and this is a topic that we discussed many, many times, how in depth you can go with things. In this module, I will talk about mastering your offer. There's nothing more important than actually presenting an offer people will not say no to, like the Godfather would say. And so what happens when you craft an offer is that you get more yeses, meaning that your conversion rate increases. And typically, if you structure it in the right way, you can actually have people pay you more. And so you increase the economics of your business, which really supports with ad spend. I'm going to talk about it more in my training. With no further ado, I hope you enjoy this one and see you in the next training. One of the most important components when it comes to scaling and growing a business and being profitable while you scale, specifically with social media platforms, is making sure that you master your offer. So just to be transparent with you, just so you know, like the offer mastery process was probably one of the biggest things that allowed us, or aspects that allowed us to just essentially scale our client profitably. I'm gonna go through the numbers in just a second, but we were essentially able to like triple the conversion rate and the average order value, which obviously allowed us to scale a lot more easily. Okay, so I just want to explain the exact sales process, or sorry, not sales process, but thought process that we used at Brandlux Media, our team, to essentially triple the conversion rate and the average order value. And this wasn't overnight. It took us like around 6 months, 5 to 6 months to actually get there. And so the first offer that we tested was that we didn't really test it. This was like the offer that our client, like he came to us with this offer, okay? And it wasn't actually really an offer. They were just promoting one of the best-selling bottles, supplement solutions in their store. And we just knew based on data that this was essentially the best seller. We tested it. We didn't have huge expectations. In fact, the results weren't really high. In fact, the average order value was only $25 because the bottle itself was around $25. And we just knew that in order for this to work, conversion rate would have at least needed to be like 5, 6, or 7%, right? Or else it doesn't really work if the average order value is so low. But we tested it either way with our ads and with our creatives, but we didn't have any results. The second offer was we just simply added a free shipping and a 30-day money-back guarantee. The results didn't really increase by a lot, just by 0.03%. So we went from 0.8 conversion rate to 0.83% conversion rate. So immediately after, just a week later, we tested another offer, and we decided to essentially start running the ads to an offer that promoted like a product bundle. So we wanted to focus on one specific problem or solution that the product was offering, and we added a couple products next to it to create like this starter kit bundle to solve this specific solution for this like type of person, okay? And this was more successful. It went from a 0.83% and the conversion rate went up to 1.4%, as you can see here. And we also were able to bump up the average order value by a bit, which was great. But at this point, the ads were just, we were just not even profitable yet. We were kind of like spending $1 and making, I don't know, like 0.7 back or something like that. The funnel was not sustainable, and we weren't even scaling like at scale. So this is definitely a no-no. So a bit after that, we tested this probably for like a couple weeks, and then we decided to like really master this offer, and just like we stopped the ads for a couple weeks, and then we decided to test this other offer type that worked for another client, and we essentially offered a 1, a 3, and a 6 bottle solution. Of course, the more the customer would bought more bottles, the more the customer bought more bottles, and the more of a discount we would give out, right? I think we were giving out up to like a 50% or 60% discount if they bought up to a 6 bottle. But at the same time, and I think this is the winning, the winning decision that we decided to implement, was to add a free sample, which was a great thing because people always like free stuff. Of course, free shipping, 30-day money-back guarantee, like we added that as usual, but we also added a free sample, which was great, and was essentially a complementary product to the main bottle that they were selling. We also added access to a VIP community, and I think this is super important. And what we're trying to do here, why are we adding all these things? Well, we're doing these things to increase the perceived value, right? Because if people see the value, they're not gonna start negotiating and asking themselves about the price, right? Because the price is directly proportional to the value and the perceived value that people see in an offer or a product or service or whatever you want. Okay, so we added access to a VIP community with group not coaching calls, but they were like group calls with the doctor. So essentially the person that was selling the product, that is essentially the face of the business, is this doctor, right? So we added like essentially weekly calls with the doctor within a Facebook community, like a Facebook group, an exclusive VIP community. And at the same time, we also added 2 digital assets, which were 2 ebooks that the doctor himself wrote, of like 30 to 40 pages each. And they were just a super fast download that people just could immediately take advantage of. And this is essentially the offer that we tested, and the results were a lot better. Like they essentially allowed us to start scaling. And we essentially went from a 1.4% conversion rate and $37 in AOV, as you can see here, to a 2.4% conversion rate and $67 in average order value. So now we actually have, a business for ads, and we have something to work with. Okay, anything below this for ads on social media, honestly, is not even worth running ads. You have to take a step back, do your offer mastery part, and then get back into ads to scale. Great, so now that you know how to actually build an offer, I want to show you a training where I go through the visual representation of what an offer should look like. Now, I'm going to still touch on multiple points on how to improve your offer, how to do value stacking, a lot of different elements that I'm going to touch base on this video, but I want to show you a video where you see the visual representation so that you can maybe compare it to what you're currently doing with your brand. Okay, I hope you enjoy. In this video, I'm going to bring you through what most companies are doing, what most brands are doing, and why they're struggling to pretty much increase their ad spend while either maintaining their ROI, their ROAS, and their return on ad spend, or basically also optimizing that in terms of returns. And there's one principle before I move on and rant about our exact strategy and what we're doing to maintain or increase ROAS at scale, right? Which is the thing that matters the most. Is I wanted to talk about something that many times people don't even remember, and it's that advertising costs are increasing the more we spend and the more we go on in time. So today, if it's costing one day, tomorrow it's going to cost 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So advertising costs, like that's the only guaranteed thing that is in in the digital marketing space or in any advertising space. With an inflation, competition, market sophistication, whatever it is, advertising costs are going to go up. So what are the things that we can do to make sure that we balance and still have a system where we can still spend and still be profitable, or even increase our ROI up front in the first sale? Now, first of all, before I go into the strategy, I want to also remind you that the businesses that are able to scale and make the most money, or have the biggest customer bases, are the customers that have the strongest economics. So they have very strong economics. What does that mean? What does economics mean? It means that typically they're able to scale because customers spend a lot and have and convert at high rates, right? So they have, long story short, translated into ecom, they have very good conversion rates and they have very healthy average order value. So these are pretty much the only things that you can do and work on to make sure that your ROI and your ROAS is actually getting better on the front end, as these advertising costs, as I said before, are increasing over time. So let me show you what and we've done this, by the way, like dozens and dozens of times, and it almost works every single time. Of course, it depends from your market and other things that are maybe not in our control, right? But typically it works, and let me bring you through this model. So this is what a typical offer looks like, right? This is just a random company that we're funnel hacking or whatever that I just got a landing page from. And so this is, they're selling this product, they have nice features and everything, and then there's obviously the option to add to cart, and this is the offer. It's $60 and it's typically sold for $150. Even if if I had to change the price, I mean, when I always say, when you're doing a compare at price, like make sure that the compare at price is also somewhat reasonable. I find it hard to believe that this small device is $150, but that's another argument for another day. Either way, $60, $150. They're doing quite well. So I believe they're a 7-figure company. So their pricing, they probably tested their pricing, and if it's working for them, good for them. But how would I drastically improve this? Even also one other scenario, if you're looking to maybe sell a very similar product to the competition, the one thing that you can do, and you should do, even to just differentiate yourself from the competition, is increase the perceived value of your product. And if you increase the perceived value of your product, what ends up happening is that your conversion rate goes up and your average order value goes up. So let me show you kind of like the diversified version that I personally created, which I know for a fact, based on our experience, can work in a better way and can allow you to have your customers spend more money with you on your store, and of course increase conversion rate. So there's 2 elements. Let me start with element number 1. Number 1, I would rather, instead of just selling one solution, I would rather have at least 2 or 3 solutions. Okay, so what we did here is that we added this extra kind of like box and variations, and so basically they can still save for a basic kit, save 14% today, and basically this basic kit is essentially the same exact price. It's like $60. Okay. And they say 14% because there's free shipping. There's also another option, which is what you see over here, right? And this is basically, this is just a random ass picture because we got this website and then we built these landing pages on gem pages ourselves. So this is just a random picture with random products from like another offer they're promoting. But this is what I would do. So disregard this image. I would just have a complete kit, a full kit where they say 42%. Now, how do we want to position this? As I said before, if we are able to really transfer the value of a customer, because remember, one thing to remember always is that it's never like when there's a price objection, the real reason why there's a price objection is because they don't see the value in your product, right? So if your conversion rate is low, it probably means most people that hop on your store don't actually see the perceived value that your product is offering. So one of the first things that you can do and work on is start increasing the perceived value. How do you increase perceived value? First of all, you increase perceived value by having great statics, great images, great product photography. That is like the basic foundation. The second thing that you can work on, and as we tested and did here, and once again, disregard these images. They have nothing to do with like this offer here. These are just like placeholders, right? This is just an example so you understand the concept. But the second thing that you can do is start stacking value and actually creating a bundled solution that doesn't just sell a product or a selection of products, but actually solves the entire problem that the customer has and why they actually clicked on your ad in the first place, right? So this is just one component of that they can opt in and buy, which is just solving one particular problem. And this is kind of a full stack solution. And guess what? It's only $10 extra, so it's basically a no-brainer. And instead of saving 14%, as you see here, they actually save 42% by just spending $10 extra. Or once again, this is kind of like we actually looked at the COGS here, and this margin is actually still very healthy. We had we contacted the suppliers to see if this was even like an offer that could have been offered to the market, and this actually makes sense, like based on margins and everything. And so what we did is that we added a Korean face mask, a facial serum, a headband, and this, once again, this has never been launched. I'm just showing you what we have done for other clients that has really worked well. So this is kind of a demo store or whatever. And so we want to make sure that we do a value stack so they see exactly the value and what the shipping fees are worth because they're free, what the facial headband is worth because it's free, facial serum, right? Same thing. And so what ends up happening here is that you will probably have a situation where people spend more because they're spending this extra $10-20 because they actually see the value in your offering, and they convert at higher rates because they're just a better offer presented in front of them, right? All of these people that are clicking on your ad want to buy a similar product. They just need to decide which company to go to and what makes the most sense for them financially and from a value standpoint, perceived value. And as I say here, I always like to do the Ferrari example. If you had 75K and you had to put it somewhere, would you put it into buying a Ferrari if it was sold for 75K only? The answer is absolutely yes, because what ends up happening is you invest the 75K in the Ferrari, but immediately that the next day you can probably sell it for 150, 200, 300, maybe even $1 million, who knows, right? But people invest 75K even if it's a pretty big investment because they know that the Ferrari is there. Why? Because they see the perceived value. There is perceived value. So you should be doing the same exact thing on your offerings, and this is how you can also just crush your competition. If your competition is doing just this, Be it, do something better. Propose bundles, propose solutions. Make sure that people actually see the perceived value, kind of like the Ferrari example. And so what we want to do here is basically offer free gifts. One other thing that we noticed that really, really works well is actually offering, creating this kind of like bundled solution. And within the solution, offer free products. But what free products? You want to offer products that people already want, like, the Korean face mask, for example, is just like a product that we chose for this example because it's something that went viral. It's going really, really viral. And so what are we doing? We're essentially putting in this Korean face mask for free. And so these are this is why this actually can work and can get you very profitable results. And so by just working on this, what we're doing, as I said before, we're increasing conversion rate, we're increasing average order value, right? Because we're increasing perceived value and we're just presenting a better offer. And because of this, your ROI on the front end is going to be automatically 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 to 100% better. We've literally shifted, we've literally seen a huge difference. And once again, this is just an example, but we were able to charge instead of $60, maybe even $80, $90, $100 by just repurposing the offer. And it completely shifted the profitability of the ad account on the front end. So this is just a quick tutorial. I thought of doing a quick demonstration on what it actually looks like because I always do these diagrams with the boxes, but I actually spent some time building a quick demo so you can see it with your own eyes and how an actual offer should be presented, okay? Let me know if you have any questions about offers, about conversion rate, about average order value. In this module, I will bring you through how to build landing pages. Landing pages are absolutely detrimental towards conversion rate and average order value, essentially the most important metrics when it comes to your store and your website. So in this module, I will bring you through the exact frameworks and structures and best practices to follow to make sure that you build the best landing page out there, okay? Hope you enjoy. Now, let's go over this landing page very quickly. As you can see, it's a very user-friendly page, very dynamic. Just zoom out a little bit. And I just love the structure of this page. And in fact, why are we even modeling this page in the first place? Well, it's very simple because they have 600,000, 700,000, between 5 and 700,000 visitors per month. This is not 100% accurate, always like SimilarWeb, but it is pretty accurate, okay? So we can say plus or minus is between 5 and 700, thousand visitors per month. And if that's the case, they're doing 8 figures, like 100% confident about it. And nothing. So I thought we just test this exact same framework. So let's go over into our free form and go over the exact infrastructure. Before I go over all these notes, I want to go over the structure of the page, kind of like the skeleton, so you have an understanding of what that is and how it works, and you can use the same for your brand. Now, it all starts with introducing the product. Right? We introduce the product, then we introduce the problem. Now, the reason I chose, I write here, these can be switched as well, is because sometimes it's also good to introduce the problem first, maybe have it have an interesting hook, and then introduce the product right after. So obviously there's different variations. The variation that we used in this example for my client and what this other, competitor, I guess, or brand is doing is following this infrastructure. So product introduction, problem introduction, so we're introducing the pains, the problems, and potential solutions, failed solutions, and of course ours is the best of the best, right? And then we have proof. We have a statistics unbiased section, and this is basically where we support the proof by showcasing unbiased proof based on statistics and numbers. And this, it could be like a medical trial, it could be anything, right? And so this cannot, of course, be put into all types of brands. So if you're selling maybe some other types of products where there isn't like a statistical trial or something like that, then you can still add statistics. I'll give you an example. If you're selling like sleep headbands or whatever they're called, you can maybe have statistics on how adding something that can improve your sleep drastically increases your efficiency when you work because you have higher energies, and so you can have statistics just for that. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it. This is just a framework. Then after the statistics, we go over product information, more like features, benefits, and specs, and then more information that is more just based on value. So we're just sharing value, so they get more familiar with the topic, with not only what we're selling, but the solutions and the problems that other similar users are facing, and just more information, more value. Then proof, reviews, FAQ, guarantee, right? And then reviews. I'm going to go through all these sections very a lot more in detail, so bear with me for just a second. But now let's get into breaking down the page. Let me drink first because my voice is almost finished. Don't forget to like, subscribe, whatever, do all those things. It supports the channel, of course, if you want. Now, this is the page. Okay, let's go over it. Top of the fold. I'm gonna kind of like also read through this. It took a while to write these things, so I might as well just also read through it and then add a couple nuggets here and there. But overall, what you want to do in a landing page, first of all, is make sure that you have good images over here. As you can see, they're selling a hair loss product, so they have a very professional imagery, right? Product pictures and product shots. This is really important, guys. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Branding, especially whether you're doing dropshipping or you have an actual brand, whatever, it doesn't actually matter. But branding your website and branding your landing pages is absolutely crucial to increase the perceived value. So there's a higher and conversion rate. There's a higher likelihood that people convert and that people perceive you as the industry leader or expert or whatever it is that you're selling, if you have good branding and good imagery. So if you don't, take a step back, okay? They also have before and afters. They have like images. I can't show you here. Let me maybe just switch over here so you can see it. Right, before and afters, other before and afters, right? Stats, things like this, right? Just more information, reviews, right? You basically want a mini snapshot of your entire landing page. And by the way, like, these graphics are also included down below. So you basically want an overview of your entire landing page over here. People, believe it or not, actually scroll through these images quite frequently. So it's, they act as mini landing pages. So that's kind of the first comment there, which I really liked about this brand. They have a small description over here, which is fine. What you want to do here is showcase that your product is a solution to the problem, which is why they're on the landing page in the first place. Okay. And then what I like to do here is, what I liked in this landing page specifically is they have, there's typically one option, and then they have subscribe and save, the other option, or there's just subscribe, or there's just like one time. This is a great opportunity to have both. And how they actually showcase it is that, let me switch over to show you, but they essentially have subscribe and save, and they have like 1 month supply, 3 month supply. I would honestly also put a 6 month supply if it were to me, but they probably tested already and they spend millions of dollars, so I might as well just follow what they're doing, right? And then one time option where they just click over here, and then there's like still 1 month supply and 3 month supply. The only difference is that they save 18% and 27% over here if it's one time, and then if they subscribe and save, 30% and 35%. I like this a lot. If I visually should see it on this page over here, it's very easy to understand. This will not work, guys. Having multiple options will just not work if you make it very complicated to understand, meaning that they click over here and maybe they don't understand, they can't read what they're getting, they don't understand what they're getting in return if they choose this or that option. So make it extremely easy to understand, like really, really simple. Now, this is what I like. Now, this is really good. What they have, why I like this section so much is because they have a medical doctor saying a comment. So what I say here, a written review within the top section of the product page is a great way to increase authority, right? They're basically, and once again, if we can include as much information as possible on the top of the fold, that is great, because many people, of course, the buyers will probably scroll, right? But many people will not read through the entire page. So this is good because you're providing proof, social proof, but especially you're increasing your authority, because in this case there's a high figure individual or whatever, authoritative individual, which is a medical doctor, saying something really positive about the product. So this is a great kind of piece to add to, or element to add to the page. This is great. One other thing that is fundamental, this is very standard for landing pages, but some people just don't know, is that you want to add information like what is included in the bundle, how does it compare to well-known pharmaceutical brands, what's scientific evidence, right? So we want to add, I say here, fundamental is to give the users an immediate understanding on what is included, what is expected, the specs, features, benefits, guarantees, and just give a level of reassurance, right? And all of these are like drop downs. Let's go over here very quickly. They're drop downs. They're good information. What's included in the bundle? They also have this feature where they literally add the products. This probably requires some code, but you don't have to have it like this. I mean, this is, let's see what happens. This actually could be a distraction as well, because it brings people to that page, but it also could be good, because maybe if they want to spend on the entire hair growth routine, they maybe just want to spend on one of these, then they will. So once again, I just trust their judgment because they spent so much, and they just have very cool drop downs with all the stats, the information, and this is fundamental to have on the top of the fold, and it just looks very, very neat. Okay, so moving forward, this is an absolutely fundamental procedure or process or element to have, and it's showing the proof, right? So showing proof as high as you can in your page is essential. So people want to see that your product actually works, whether it's quality of the product, proof of effectiveness, etc. It doesn't really matter. You just need to show users that other people are using the product and that it actually works. And they actually have dozens of case studies that you can scroll and literally see the before and after. So this is a fundamental structure to add, or element to add, right after the product introduction, because you introduce the product, right? They're here for a problem. You introduce the solution to your product problem, which is the product, right? And the first thing you have to do is showcase that it actually works for other people. If you put this section on the bottom, people are not going to get hooked. And by the way, this sequence is strategically proven to make sure that they read through the entire landing page. It's strategically structured in a way that is optimized for them to read through the landing page. So bear with me for just a second. And so it's really important. The next section over here is the statistical evidence. So adding statistical proof from trusted sources can really increase your authority, right? It's good to have proof that your customers are using your product, but it's biased. Let's be honest, like it's biased. It could be fake. Who knows, right? Who knows who trusts companies nowadays? So what we want to do is add an extra layer of proof. And they have like user trials and they have clinical case studies, literally. And so it's very, very smart for them to do that, because they can basically read a couple of case studies where there's actually hard-earned proof. And one other thing that they add is literally you can read the case study. So you can click and read their in-depth case study. Now, if you don't have a case study, you can leverage somebody else's case study. It can also be from a trusted source. And I think that this is their case. This is not their company. Yeah, this is another trusted. I'm not sure, but it doesn't actually matter as long as it's statistically proven and there's an actual case study. This is really important. Once again, you could be selling clothing and your sales proposition is that this clothing is whatever, it's the highest quality material, and then so you maybe have a case study showcasing that it's the actual truth and that you're sourcing products from the best of the best countries in the world where the quality of the material or whatever it is that you're selling is the highest. So it doesn't have to be specifically about this. You get my point. I'm just trying to give you a framework here. Okay, so this works very well. Once again, we want unbiased proof, right? So people can trust us for an extra reason. Now this section over here, I would honestly also have added maybe on the top of the fold, just to give immediate social proof that we've been featured, it works, these are the trusted partners or whatever featured in XYZ. It's great. I honestly like how it's also positioned here, but I would also maybe add it on the top as something that scrolls. And I think they also have like a scrolling section. Yeah, there it is. Great. I love it. Very visually appealing. I love it. Good. Now, this is where we start to be a little more technical. Now, the reason why I wouldn't have this ingredients section more on the top is because if we just overwhelm people, with all these specific ingredients, and why they should learn about these ingredients on the top, it gets confusing because they don't even know if they want the product in the first place. They're probably not even sold. They're not sold. And so what we want to do is have this framework where we introduce the product, we show them the proof, we show them the unbiased proof, we give them even more social proof, and then we explain them, look, now since we literally prove to you in 7 different ways that you have to listen to us and that this is a product for you, now you can dive deeper into like what the product actually contains, what are the ingredients, right? So this is really important. I love this section. And the good thing is that you can actually read more and go more in depth. Some people, you always, what I advise you to do is always give that extra option, because some people are readers, some are not. What I would also add here is maybe have a quick demonstrational video of somebody like demoing the product and speaking about the ingredients. Once again, some people are very visual, some people just want to read, some people just want to look at a video, right? So give options. Now, one other thing that is important here that I love about this section is that this is like a step-by-step section that provides value, right? And how does it provide value? Well, because it talks about the causes, right? It provides information. It talks about the solutions, right? Potential solutions, and it talks about the results, right? What you can expect in terms of results. So we're educating the customer and giving the customer expectations, right? Again, why would I, this is potentially a section that we could add also more on the top, probably even higher over this, right? If it were me, I would test this section over here, because people are more likely to want to learn more about the cause and the solution and the results before they maybe understand about the ingredients. The ingredients are there. You can also list the ingredients more on the top. I think they have done this. Yeah, they haven't, but I would put like ingredients over here as well, just because if some people are interested, they can read it on the top instead of just scrolling all the way through. But yeah, so this is great. Let me just show you on the page over here. Yeah, the cause. And so they have good visuals and good GIFs to showcase and inform and educate the user on what is the actual cause of them losing the hair, what is actually happening, right? And then they have the solution, which is of course, recommending their product, and then the expected results and more statistics, right? More stats. I like this section a lot. Now then, moving forward, now that we have, just to recap, presented the problem, presented the product, presented the proof, presented the unbiased proof, more social proof and authority, effectiveness with the ingredients, right? More information and value about the product. Now it's time to really dive deeper into like, this also works for others, right? We introduce the proof over here, right? But it's always good practice on the top over here, but it's always a good practice to introduce the proof at least 2 to 3 times within a landing page. So in this case, it's the second time. I like this section a lot because you can actually read through. First of all, it links them to their full reviews, which is also good. Many people don't do this, and so what ends up happening is that the customer just reads maybe 2 or 3 reviews, but they actually miss all of the hundreds of reviews that you might have, you might have, but they just don't scroll through the entire landing page, because typically the reviews are more on the bottom, right? So they have a section to just see the reviews immediately. These are like small things. It's not a break it or make it type of deal, but you know, it's like it helps overall. Adding small pieces all combined actually help with conversion rate. I mean, we've tested a lot at this point, and so I like this section a lot. It's, you know, it adds social proof even more. And now this is the golden section, guys, the FAQ. The FAQ section, along with the review section, are essentially where you answer all of your customers' objections. If people go on your landing page and they have even one single half a question in their mind, they're just not going to buy. It's just like psychologically, they will not be triggered to buy. They need to be 100% sold, even if it's a $5 product. So what we want to do here is add between 10 and 15. I wouldn't do more than 15, honestly, because then it becomes really just an article, right? So 10 and 15 of the most important questions, and kind of like, if you don't know what to put in here, just look at your competitor and look at their reviews and kind of understand what their questions are or what their concerns are. Or maybe just look at their FAQ as well and kind of compare it with yours. Get inspiration from somebody else. In our scenario, we got inspiration from this brand in terms of how it's structured, but make sure that you answer all of their objections and go into detail. Let me just show you how that page looks like, their FAQ looks like. But they dive deeper into answering these questions, right? I would also add things like shipping. Is it fast shipping? When can I expect my product? Refunds. I'm not sure if they added things here. I would also add maybe a couple more of these things, because it's, you know, people want to know these things: shipping, delivery, expected delivery, guarantees and refunds, and how that works over there. But look, there's also another section over here where they talk about refunds, so that's good. And this is really, really strong, because once again, once we've convinced people that this is our product, we want to make it a no-brainer, right, to actually take action. And they have what I like to call a clinically backed guarantee, because 150 days is typically, like, it's not typical, that's what I meant to say. There's typically 30-day guarantee, 60-day guarantee, or whatever. But they have a 150-day guarantee, which is very, very specific to the trial that they were running, right? So to refresh your mind, they run a clinical trial, and it proved that within 150 days, X amount of, or like 97% of people actually saw an increase in hair growth or something like that. So they're saying, to make it a little more interesting, if you don't see results within 150 days, then you can ask a refund, as long as you do these 3 simple steps. That's all we ask for. So this is reassuring the customers that they have literally nothing to lose. They have zero risk. If it doesn't work, they get a refund. If it works, they grow their hair back, okay? So this is good. Now, this section over here, I would personally add this, as I see here, add this section more towards the top. However, this could be a great opportunity to remind people how to use the product again once they get to the bottom, right? So this is a demonstrational product, how to use the hair growth routine. I would also just honestly add it more towards maybe over here. But as I said in the quote in my text on the left, it could also be an opportunity to just remind people to say, okay, we've gone through the FAQs, we've gone through the guarantee. How do we actually do this again? Boom, reminder. And so there's a quick demonstration video. I would add this video on the top over here. Whoops, what's going on? Over here, I would add it over here, or just embed it somewhere around here. Maybe also embed it over here, how it actually works. They click and then they see a video or something like that. Now, these are just my comments. Once again, at the end of the day, we actually just kind of copied the structure, and it's working quite well. And this is essentially, and then they have reviews. Now, the only comment that I would add here is that they don't have a lot of before and afters. They don't have UGC reviews. They don't have the human interaction. They literally have just comments or reviews, which is okay, it still works. But it's a lot better if you actually add the UGC elements. I'll give you an example. Let's see if we can find somebody else here. Right? Like this, something like this. It's actually quite easy to add. And one other thing that I like about this brand is that they actually have kind of like small little surveys based on the objections that most people have. And so if I write a review over here, I can literally rate different things. How would you rate the effectiveness? Excellent, or very good, right? How would you rate the speed of results? Very good, excellent, right? And then there's a couple extra questions. And so what ends up happening is that you essentially answer your prospects or users' objections just by them looking at these average results. And as you can see, most of these questions are important, how is the product effective, right? And so the prospect sees that most people are saying yes, 10 out of 10. And so visually, right, a combination between this and the combination between actually seeing people, real people that are receiving the product, or them showing the product with a quick selfie style video or image, all of these things really matter. So this is the only thing that would probably add to this section over here. Overall, this is a proven page. It's working also well for us. We've modeled a very similar infrastructure. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any questions on this. I know that I went through and ranted through a couple things. So yeah, just let me know if you have any questions. Still part of module 3, I will bring you through how to build advertorials. Advertorials are a very interesting concept that not many e-commerce entrepreneurs speak about. And we've found a lot of success with advertorials. So in this next video, I'm going to talk about how to build them, what is the psychology behind building them, how to structure them, and how to leverage them to run profitable ads. I hope you enjoy. First of all, we need to understand, what is the point of an advertorial? The point of an advertorial is, or listicle advertorial, is that we want to educate and take a more educational approach towards selling to our client. Now, the traditional way of selling is that you go from an ad, and instead of going to this advertorial over here, which is basically an article type of sales page, right? You go to the product page, or you go to the collection page, or you go to the home page. You go to a sales asset, right, where people are supposed to convert, right? Now, with this approach, there's a couple actual really advantages, I would call them, when you use an advertorial. First of all, the prospect has its guards down because they are going from an ad, which probably seems like something, in most cases, whenever we run advertorials, the types of ads that we run are like rhetorical questions or image ads or like non-salesy like videos or demonstration, or like not super salesy, 50% on sale, buy now. It's like very chill, very low key. And so whenever they go from here to here and they keep on consuming information, the goal of this advertorial is to give them more information about a specific problem or a solution. So typically, or maybe to speak about problems and solutions because they're not aware of them, right? So we want to touch 3 different stages mainly: unaware, problem aware, and solution aware. These three to 4 types of avatar customers. And so what really works well here is that they are basically with their guard down. And what we want to do in this advertorial, and I'm going to show you an example in just a second so you see it, an example from like an 8 or 9 figure brand, so you see exactly what I mean by advertorial and how to structure it, is that within the article, yes, they consume and they give maybe scientific data, they give a lot of information. They also make sure to link different like unbiased articles so that the consumer and the reader can actually understand that what they're reading is legitimate and there's no bias. And of course, within the landing page, which once again I'm going to show you in just a second, make sure to stick until the end, they also add a small call to actions, small product sections where they can actually click and buy if they're interested, kind of like ads. And people are like very used to seeing, like, you know, those Google ads where you go maybe on Forbes.com or whatever, and you read your article, and then after, maybe not on Forbes, I don't remember, but like these news articles where there's like ads, like Google ads, right? Google retargeting ads. People are used to seeing that, and so it's kind of like not something sketchy or new, right? So this is kind of a way to do it. Now, what I like, and of course from here, then you can redirect people wherever you want to probably your highest performing sales asset, whether it's a product page, a sales page, a home page, whatever you want. Now, why I love this approach so much is that whenever we add an extra level, an extra layer within our retargeting, or sorry, our funnel. So instead of going from ad to product page, we add an extra layer with the advertorial. What we do here is that we add an extra level of retargeting. And for those of you who run paid ads, or the newbie, even if you're a newbie, you probably know this. You have a much a higher likelihood of converting somebody that you're retargeting because they already know, maybe like and trust you, compared to somebody that has no understanding or knowledge of who you are, what you sell, what you stand for, etc., your values, right? And so when we retarget these people, we can retarget them in kind of couple different ways. First of all, we can retarget them to give them even more information. So maybe if we are, if the retargeting pool is for like a problem aware or like, I don't know, let's just say in this article we're going after problem one and we're talking about problem one. This is problem one, this is what people are doing, this is the problem in the market. And then maybe we can retarget these people with like problem two or problem three, or maybe solution two or solution three, right? You first have them read about the problem, and maybe you then after you have them read about the solution. Now consider one thing: whenever we add extra layers to the entire sales process, you have to consider that the sales journey, it takes a little bit more time for it to be profitable, because you're adding kind of like some friction. But this is really good friction, because we are educating people and we can retarget them, right? And we can literally retarget them with like buy now ads, right? And those ads are typically also going to convert at higher rates, because they have been funneled into like an educational and informational funnel before they saw the call, the buy now, call to action or ad or landing page, or whatever you want to call it. So these are two options. And then of course the third option, as I told you before, is that you can either go from here to like advertorial 2 or 3 or whatever, or you can just go from here to then just strictly to like a retargeting to as I just said, to like the product page or the sales page. This is like very standard. And so I love this approach, once again, because it's very like, it's very kind of a low-key way to educate people and have them build trust. Now, one thing to consider over here, I'm not sure if I speak about it here. No, I don't. But one thing to consider here is that there's a couple ways to approach an advertorial. The first approach is that you can essentially open up your website. So there's two ways. The first way is like on your website, right? So this is like your main, so basically this would be like www.yourwebsite.com. right? And so this is basically an article that is just published on your website, on your blog, whatever you want to call it. The other approach here is like, and I would advise you to do this maybe once you prove that after you publish it here and it actually works and it's profitable, then you can maybe move forward to this other method. But here, you can publish your article into like a new domain, and you can call the domain, let's just say this is a beauty company and they're selling menopause. You buy a domain called www.bestmenopauseproducts.com. And so this is basically a completely unbiased, like if they thought this was unbiased on your domain, just wait until they read an article where it's literally not on like a spammy domain. And you can also buy like .org if you want. You can do like .org, and so it's like more trustworthy, etc. And so we're not like scamming people here. Like, don't get me wrong. We want them, if you have a good product and you're confident about your product, wouldn't you do, and you know that this product helps people, right? Wouldn't you do as much as possible to make sure that you convert more people so that you can actually genuinely help more people in the world? Of course, that's what we're trying to do here. And so we're not trying to be like, slicky salesmen here. We're just trying to be smart. And so bestmenopauseproducts.org, this is a lot more trustworthy. It's a lot more unbiased. And then of course here we have to treat it as like a third party. Kind of like a platform. And so the article would go, same function, you write your article and then you would link all the way to this other website. So it would go from there, from here to like your main website. And of course it would go like to the product page over here, right? That's what I meant. Now, hopefully you got this example. One other thing that you can do to bring it kind of to the next level is that how you have your Instagram page and your Facebook page. You have to make sure that the Instagram page and the Facebook page, probably you don't even need Instagram, just Facebook is called like, you name it under the same brand. You don't use the page of your actual brand name. You just use the page of the new domain that you just bought. You just kind of invent one. Okay, so these are just some cool whitelisting concepts. Now, this is pretty much the funnel, guys. And of course, it can go more in depth, but I like to keep things simple. And so there's kind of like some, and so basically I talk about it here, that third-party high authority website. Yeah, there's also another actual methodology that works very well. We had a client, for example, that sells a menopause product. He's actually not a client, but whatever. It's just for the sake of the example. He sells a product that is for whatever, like a supplement for women that are on menopause. And they have an article from Harvard, right? So the first thing that I would do is that I would go to Harvard, and because they actually published the article, and they generally did a research on the product because it worked, and they did like scientific studies. What I would do is I would approach Harvard and I would say, can we promote this with our ads so you get more traffic, whatever, more viewers, and we have the opportunity to kind of promote our product thanks to the amazing article that you wrote. Worst case, they say no. If they say yes, and in many cases they can say yes because they literally wrote the article, and it was their decision, then you can have like that can really work well, The only thing is that you cannot retarget people on because you don't have a pixel on harvard.com, right? You don't own the pixel, so you can't actually, it's a little bit more complicated there, but you're assuming that if you bring people to Harvard, it's even more unbiased. There's really a high level of authority. And so people, and of course, you make sure that you ask Harvard to include product links. So this is actually a very smart way, and I've seen this work amazingly, especially if the website that you choose has very high authority, like a harvard.com, for example. Okay, now these are my three favorite types of listicles and articles that I've seen work. Number one is XY reasons why landing page. So XY reasons why XYZ, whatever you want. And so another one is storytelling, doing like a this is how Jeremy went from broke to hero or whatever, or to $1 million business, and these are the steps that he used or whatever. This is just a random stupid example. And then you have third party review landing page, where this is basically landing page where it's probably best to use you can use both domains, honestly. You can use whatever strategy you want, but this is essentially like top 5 products in the beauty industry, or top 5 menopause products. Then you would start with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and of course the number 1 would be your product. And of course make sure that you outline, don't focus too much on the other products and make them sound so amazing, or else people are actually just going to go buy it there, right? So you have to be smart about it. And so these are kind of like the 3. I want to show you a quick example there we go. And this is basically an advertorial, a listicle of humnutrition.com. They are a multi 8-figure company. They scale also with advertorials. I'm not sure if they're doing as much advertorials now as when I used to funnel hack them, but this is like a great, let me show you another example, because this is also, it's also kind of funny. Why do my farts smell so bad? 5 reasons why your farts smell really bad according to doctors, right? So these, you also want to be like creative, okay? We don't want to do something like super kind of like an article that anybody would write. We have to be kind of creative with our headline. This is, remember, the goal here is to convert people. So yes, it has to be informational, but use your copywriting skills, right? And so this is kind of like an article. It has some images. It has to be very easy to read. It can't be like an article that has like 3 million words with no spacing. It has to be very user friendly when it comes to like to reading. The well structured images, bullet points. And then what I like here that they do is that, I'm not sure if they do in this one, but yeah, here within the article itself, they add like small little sections, kind of like Amazon, or like kind of like the side Google ads that I explained before. And this is, of course, it tells the product, the reviews, how many reviews, that it's the bestseller, call to action, and then briefly what it does. And of course, you're showcasing them this product after you spent the entire 1,000, 2,000 words speaking about the problem and a potential solution. And then of course you present the solution here, but it's very like low key. If you want it, it's here. Feel free to consume the rest of my articles, kind of like sales approach. Now, this is basically the strategy. Let me know, guys, if you have any specific question about how this works. If you actually join my school community, I have examples of written articles, I think between 5 and 10, I don't remember, where we've actually did templates. Yeah, you can follow a template. My copywriter wrote them, so you can just follow exactly what they're doing. And if you want, whatever, it's $50 a month, you get access to way more resources, including my time, but also these articles and listicles that I just went through over in this video. As part of module 3, which is landing pages, I decided to include this very interesting video where I talk about scaling advertising and scaling with offers and leveraging landing pages to do so. This is going to be a very interesting one. Let me know if you have any questions, and hope you enjoy. What I want to do as well is actually show you what Truly is a company that they're doing some, they're selling several different products, but they're doing multiple 8 figures. I know that for a fact, and I want to show what they're doing and their exact strategy so that you can see with your own eyes, okay? And before we do that, I actually want to show you a quick free-form document over here to go over a very principal, like high-level concept that you maybe already know, maybe you don't, but I'll just share my opinion. Now, this is what most companies do, and this is what I would say most 6- and 7-figure companies do. Once again, they test and put all of their baskets into one offer. So typically, now if you're a 6-figure business and you can't go from 6 to 7 figures, It's probably because you're not testing enough creative angles, marketing angles, etc., etc., etc. Right? That's typically the difference between a 6 and a 7-figure business. So a 7-figure business has an offer that is dialed in, right? Whether it's for one product or other products, whatever. They have one offer, one way of selling, one proposition that they're putting to the market, and it's really working well. You don't need like 20 offers to make this work. You need one channel, one offer, a good product, a good landing page, good branding, right? You know, these things, these principles of just building a company, and you can get to 7 figures quite easily if you crack the code, okay? And if you know what you're doing, of course. Now, the difference between 7 and typically multi 7-figure businesses and of course 8-figure businesses is that an 8-figure business or multi 7-figure business that's doing 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, $30 million a year will actually test multiple tiers of offers, okay? And what ends up happening if you test one offer only is that your market is going to get saturated with that offer, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like it's going to be quite hard to scale. And when you're and by the way, the title of this video, how to increase scale and conversion rate. So a big topic of today's video is how to increase conversion rate, okay? Because conversion rate is the economics of your business, meaning that if it goes down, you can't scale. If it stays the same, you're probably, if it stays the same, you can probably stay at the same level, but guess what? Advertising costs increase, right? So we need to do something to supplement this increase in advertising costs, right? Because of, inflation, competition, whatever. And so you can, of course, increase your average order value, which is great, but at the same time, you always need to focus and find ways to increase your conversion rate. The fastest way to increase conversion rate and to find other winning offers is to test other offers, right? Within our agency, we do build landing pages. We have a CRO division, conversion rate optimization, where we literally build landing pages and test offers. And there's a couple ways to do this to increase conversion rate and average order value. Number one is working on the structure of your landing page. Okay, you can work on making it look better. You work on branding, and I'm going to show you some examples later, so stick with me. And making it look better, making sure that the structure, it's well structured, meaning it has a good sequence, right? You're following a template that is proven. Right? Those things really work well, of course they do. But the one thing that will drastically increase the conversion rate from one day to another, and we've had, I do have other case studies in my YouTube videos where we go from like 1% to 3% conversion rate within 24 hours. And you can only do that if you test other tiered offers. And you can sell the same exact product, but positioned in a different way with a different offer. Once again, I'm going to show you an example in just a second. But so this is really, really fundamental. And so this is a typical what 6 and 7-figure businesses do. And this is typically what multi 7-figure or 8-figure businesses do, and the difference. So they of course do more creatives, because if you have more offers, you technically also need to have more creatives because you're launching multiple different landing pages as well, of course. So this is how they're divided. They're dividing their cash flow in their company, and this is what it looks like. So instead of having all of your eggs in one basket into one offer, right, they're basically distributing their entire company cash flow into like offer 1, offer 2 is doing very well, offer 3 is doing so, but it's still contributing with offer 1, right? Then offer 4, offer 5, and offer 6 is the best, right? So they typically don't have just one way to generate revenue. And it's the same thing also, this company, just like offers, they have multiple not distribution channels, but different channels. So they have Amazon, they have eBay, they have Shopify, right? They're getting their sales from Facebook, from organic, perhaps from TikTok, right? So I'm just giving you some examples, from email, right? So they're distributing everything. Just like you're distributing the way that you're generating revenue through your entire company, you should be doing the same exact thing when it comes to a singular channel. Whether it's testing new products or testing new offers, or doing both at the same time. Okay, so as I say here, let me see. Note, testing different offers is what will allow you to have the biggest impact on your conversion rate. This is kind of what I was talking about before. Okay, now with no further ado, let me switch my screen and show you what this other company is doing, so you can see with your own eyes. So this is the company that I wanted to show you. They're called Truly Beauty. They have 500 ads active, which means, they're doing quite well. I'm not sure exactly their revenue, but they're doing quite well. I know that for a fact. And I think they only have 498 because I filtered by all the videos. If we do all of their ads, they have like almost 800 ads, which means that what they're doing is really working well. Now, what I want to do here is show you also, this tool is very useful. I always talk about it in my channel. If you're new, it's called Try Archer. We're actually also partners with them, because this is a tool that I use every single day for my agency, right, for my clients. And so what you can do here is basically follow companies, and you can track everything that they're doing. You can filter by their most recent or longest running ads. Of course, the longest running ads are going to be the most successful ads, right? You can see what they're doing with their landing pages. This is a great way to funnel hack proven high converting landing pages, right? So this is one thing that they're doing. And then you can also see the level of distribution between their images, their carousels, their videos, right? They're doing a lot of videos here, 63%. Doesn't surprise me. And then images are obviously also great for retargeting, right? So this is what they're doing. You can follow them, you can watch all of their videos, and you can also like click on each ad and it will give you this transcript of the actual video of the UGC video. And with AI, you can create multiple other variations. So I'm not going to go through this software right now. You can see my other videos, but this is a great tool. This is where we're going to use to funnel hack this company, Truly Beauty. And by the way, you can also use their meta ad see their meta ads library over here. Now, what I want you to notice is how much they're distributing their traffic over here. Most companies don't do this. They have like 70-80% of the traffic going into like one page, one collection, one something, right? One offer. And they have so many different offers, as you can see. Buy 3, get 3 for free. They have a BOGO offer over here. They have a starter pack that they're testing. Glazed donut. We're going to go over some examples over here. But what I want to show you is that just by reading the ad copy, free minutes, whatever, this product, and we can maybe also read the headlines. They literally have their offers as headlines in the ads, like free minutes are back plus 20% off. 2 body firming sets, right? Buy 3 body butters and get 3 for free, right? So another example of an offer, and I have all these, I'm not sure if you can see them, but I have like 7 landing pages that I'm going to show you in just a second so that you can see what they're doing and how they're testing their offers. Get 15% off plus a free whatever starter kit probably. These are just some, I'm not sure why it's not scrolling. I think it's not loading properly, but there's way more ads. 2 body firming sets, right? So they're testing so many different offers and putting their eggs into like different baskets. And this is what, what a typical landing page could look like. And this is not complicated. You can build this on Pagefly, on Replo, on these page builders very easily. You don't even have to hire an expensive developer to do this. You can probably do this yourself if you just want to test the concept. And what they're doing here is that they have, of course, a lot of social proof, a lot of reviews. They have good branding, good images and everything. These are of course the principles of branding and making this work, right? But they're testing offers like buy 3, get 3 free body butters, right? And so this is very incentivizing. And they have, a very clear offer over here. And then they're doing another landing page where they're doing buy 1, get 1 free body bundle, right? And guess what? Like the difference between this offer and this other offer is probably in terms of conversion rate and average order value are probably completely different, right? And guess what? Some ads will give you some costs, like, a $1 cost per click, and this type of cost will only work with one type of offer, just because of the economics. The economics between the cost per clicks and how much you're spending to get somebody on the store to visit your product and your page and your offer is only makes sense if the entire funnel is actually profitable in the first place. How do we make it profitable? Well, we work on landing pages, conversion rates, optimization funnels, and average order value optimization stuff, right? Basically what they're doing over here. And so this is a very simple page. They have an offer banner on the top, the price, what they get, very, very good branding. And then they also have, of course, what they get over here. So this, they see the value and the perceived value. They have FAQ questions, and then they have a bunch of, some reviews. The one thing that I would add here, honestly, is maybe if I click the review section, yeah, it brings me to like, yeah, this is probably their landing page, and you can check the reviews over here. Yeah, exactly. So the only thing that I would add is I would actually just test it by putting the entire widget, right? Because this is time consuming. So this is one thing that I would split test for them, is actually just put the entire widgets over here so they can see all of the 6,000 reviews on the bottom. But maybe they already tested that and this works very well. Now, this is a very simple page. Now, if you're testing different offers, you might be saying, oh, if I'm testing 17 different offers, then it means I need to do 17 different landing pages. No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. In fact, they're doing exactly a different thing. They're just split testing titles and of course changing the deliverables and what they're getting with like different offers. And then of course you can kind of see what economics makes sense, what scales the most. Chances are over here, just by looking at the distribution of their traffic, they're spending like 10% on average on each page, just probably because it's working well for them, right? And if it's working, it's working. And so they found many different offers. And once again, this business compared to another business that has all of their traffic going into like 70-80% of the traffic going to one offer, this business is going to have a way higher chance to scale. It's simple. Now, they're also doing starter packs where you can like build your own bundle, right? They're testing this type of offer. They have like a $100 value. So this, it's just the way, it's probably the same exact kits where they sell 3 and then a couple things for free, right? Free golden spoon, free razor, a free case, whatever. And so they're testing this type of offer. And this is more like of an advertorial type of ad, right? So it's not, one other thing to consider is that it's not only smart to test offers, although that is probably the first thing that I would do to have the biggest impact. The next thing that you should do is like split test your landing page, right? The offer should be the first thing that you split test because it's the one that gives you the biggest and most significant impact on your conversion rate and your average order value, right? And then you should shift on shifting. You should shift on testing whether the advertorial page works better or a traditional landing page like this other one works better or whatever. So this is probably something that they're testing. This is more like an advertorial type of landing page, and it's probably working well for them because they're running a lot of traffic to it. So, and then they're doing something else here. a different tiered offer, different pricing, right? One other thing that you could test is like test different pricing. Try having like a similar offer, but like increasing your price by 20%. You don't know if it's not going to work or if it's going to work until you test. That's going to be basically always be the answer. Same thing here. They're testing an offer. They're testing also a monthly subscription. I think this is like their traditional. They're just their website. It's not even a page. It's just like it's part of their website. So they're testing a signature VIP collection, and then of course I think this is the same page as before. Either way, if you don't have like 1,000 products, you should really focus on split testing different offers. I always like to say it's always better to sell an offer instead of selling a product. And there's a very big difference. You can sell a product with 10, 20, 50 different offers, right? And you can find markets and segments that you can convert with all of those 100 offers that you test for that one singular product, right? So of course you should do both. You should also expand your product collection so that you can, have more repeat customers. You can have more choice, more variety. But we're talking about something else in this video, so I'm not going to talk about that. Either way, I just wanted to show you this. This is a very smart way to do it. If you want to funnel hack other companies and see what they're doing as well, just make sure to use this tool. I don't care if you use my link or not. I don't care. I'm just talking about the simplicity and effectiveness of this tool. I really use it every single day, and I advise you to do the same, mainly to just funnel hack what they're doing, and also looking at your competitor and seeing what types of offers they're running. If you're funnel hacking a competitor that is doing very well, I can almost guarantee you that they're testing multiple funnels and multiple different offers, and you should be doing the same if you want to get to that level. In this video, still part of module 3, which is landing pages, I'm going to bring you through how to build a landing page from scratch within 24 hours. There's nothing worse than spending 4, 6, 8 weeks on building a landing page without even knowing if it's going to work. So with some tools and a certain software that I like to use, I'm going to bring you through how to build it from scratch within 24 hours. I hope you enjoy. So this is the landing page itself. It's very neat. The top part, it has the reviews, it has, subscription plan, a kit, whatever. It's very well formatted. And the quality, and a lot of people don't actually think this is important, but the format of the landing page is very important. But if you have amazing visuals and really well branded visuals like these are amazing. These are very well branded. I'm not sure if they are AI driven, meaning AI made, but it wouldn't surprise me if they are, honestly, because nowadays you can pretty much come up with any. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they are. But these are really, really high quality content images. And this is probably part of the reason why this is also working for them, and they're making like $20,000-$30,000 a day. These are some nice gifts. This is some nice explanation. You have a step-by-step process. You have very neat, FAQ sections, and then you have a bunch of reviews. So this might sound like a simple structure, but there's actually a lot of people out there that have no idea how to structure a landing page, and I can assure you this is one great way to do it. So we went ahead and modeled this landing page. Now, the next step that I want to bring you through is actually how to do this yourself. Okay, I'm going to teach you exactly how to implement and build a landing page like this yourself without having to hire me, an agency, or somebody else, and actually spending a lot of time on other tools that you don't know of. And just so you know, this is important, this tool is essentially free, and it's called Pagefly, if you haven't heard of it. I know that there's other company and softwares like Replo. I know that there's like one from Zipify, but this is the only one that I know of that, first of all, has like 9,000 reviews, almost 5-star ratings. And at the same time, you can get started for free because they give you, as you read here, no credit card required, one page, one section for free. And all you need to make 7 figures in e-commerce is one product, a good advertising strategy, one product, and one landing page. So what I suggest you to do is go here on Shopify, sign up. I'm going to leave some links on both, also for Shop Hunter. I'm going to leave a link for Shopify. If you haven't signed up yet, I'm going to leave a link. But once you're in, that's all you need to do. I created like a test Shopify. The first step is to go into the product section. By the way, the first step to make Pagefly work, right? You have to go in here, create a product. I just kind of copied and pasted. Don't do like I'm doing. This is just an example, okay? Because I want to explain things in a fast manner. But I went ahead and created a product. I essentially called it just like them, and I added their images. Okay, you go ahead and find other images. There's a bunch of AI tools, a bunch of like pictures that you can scrape from. I just wrote literally woman, face, hair, razor, GIF, and you can find a bunch of images that you can use and repurpose yourself. Okay, so don't copy. So once you create this product, you just have to make sure that you install this install it into your Shopify, and then once you're there, you'll be able to let me actually bring you through the main page. You can go here into pages, you can create a blank page, and then I just called mine test page, and then you're gonna see something like this. Now, as you can tell, it took me like an hour or less to do this entire thing, and it's pretty damn similar to what you're seeing over here. And in this video, I'm gonna bring you through exactly how to do it yourself, and the entire process. Now, let's actually talk about, I'm gonna bring you through the exact process of how to build this, this exact same landing page, model it, the structure within Pagefly. And you'll see that Pagefly is a very self-intuitive platform where you can just understand it by yourself. You probably need to spend 30 minutes to an hour and you can already understand how this page builder works. There's also a bunch of tutorial, but I wanted to do a quick one here just so you understand how I built this and how fast I built this. So let's start from the top. To create this header, all you have to do is add a section. This is literally a section. I'm going to do it again so you see an example. You go in the layouts, and these are all sections, right? So I can go here and create the same exact thing. I like to always duplicate things. Let's just say I want to recreate this exact thing. I would go over here first of all to create to add a background color. You can just click the entire section, go here on the bottom. We can add the color. I like to always go in here, copy and paste from here, then go back over here, and you can just copy and paste the same exact color. Then if you want to copy a headline, I still like to, once I create one headline, I just duplicate it and drag it over here. You can just then put it in the middle by going to text alignment over here. You can change the font, very easy, and then you can make it smaller by adjusting the padding and the margin. And this is where you kind of have to play with it. It took me some time, honestly, to figure it out. It does see perfect. Yeah, you just have to go in here and kind of adjust to how you want things. Yeah, to go in here. Yeah, so this is the exact section, exactly. So it's exactly how it is right near over here. I just wanted to show you how I did that. I'm just gonna delete this and show you also how we did the other section. So this, for example, to build this section over here, it's very simple. You drag and drop, you go over here and to add elements, layouts, and you would add two sections like this over here. On one side, we can add main media, an image, and on the other side, we can build all of these assets. This is very simple. You can literally just get a headline, select the headline and drag it and drop it, and you can choose, as you can see, where to put it over here. So this is a very easy tool to use. You can figure it out yourself. Now this, how do I create this? It's very simple. You can either just upload an image automatically, or because we created the product over here already, you can actually just go over here and product media, and you can add something like this. So I just literally dragged it and dropped it. All you have to do is select here the product. I select it, boom, and now we have the same exact thing. Now, how did I make these round corners? I like this part, these elements, these round elements. I really like them on the store. How do I add those? It's very simple. You click on here, you go on styling, and then you go on border, and you can choose to add borders. So I think it's 40 or 50. Yeah, I think 50 is better. Just do 40, whatever. And you can, all of the images are formatted like that. And this is pretty simple. It's very sexy. Once again, I love the imagery that they have here. It really increases the perceived value, in my opinion. And how do you create this other section? Once again, very simple. We want to drag and drop. I'm going to try to do it in the same way. Go over here, headings. Right, now it's going to look different, and the beauty about here is that once again, you just customize whatever you want. Times New Romans, we don't care about. This is the font that I used. Once again, I just copied and pasted all of their copy just for the sake of the example. Once again, how do I make this in a smaller mode? I just literally duplicate this one and just make this smaller. So it's very simple. 15. Now let's just make this go up. If I want to make this go up or down or to the left or to the right, I just have to go here on the margin section and adjust that and see what it works. If I go and do like positive numbers, it goes down. If I go and do negative numbers, it goes up. But so I kind of need to see and understand what the sweet spot is. I think it's -15. Yeah, that looks good. Now, to add the reviews, all you have to do is go over here. You can go in the app and add the reviews yourself. I'm just gonna like duplicate it from here. It's like the same thing. This element only works on a product page or inside a product details element. So what you have to do probably is go here in product details. Select the product and then probably delete this. Look, I'm gonna do a little trick here. Yeah, product details. So what you have to do is, these are the tricks that you learn later. So you have to go here into product, essentially what I just did, product details, you drag it and drop it, you just eliminate whatever you see, and now you have like product details, and probably you can just go ahead and drag it and drop it over here, and it works. There's no problem. So that's how I did that. I'm gonna put this all the way on the top so that it's closer to the top. And nothing, this is just a headline. I just drag and drop the headline like this, over here, headline, drag, drop, boom. Just gonna copy and paste. I'm just doing it with you again, just so you kind of see how I built this all-in-one kind of thing. Then I can go over here. I want to take the bold off, Command B, I just took it off. Now we can go here in styling. Once again, I don't like this font. I want this one over here. Now 18 is probably 18.72. I'm not sure why it's 18.72. 18 is a good font for desktop device. And this is essentially, this is the most challenging part coming up over here. These are just drag and drop. Like you can add a section and then you have to add a headline, and then you can drag and drop a headline. Very simple. Here it's also simple. It's what we did is like we went over here in the layout. We had two layouts over here. On one side we just put two images over the other, and on this side I created another double section. Let me show you. I went here, layouts, and I created another double section, and on this side I added the image, right? And on this side I added another like heading, which is very simple. And here I just put two images on top of the other, and here I just added a button. Okay, so this is also very simple to use. Let me know if you have any questions on this. And this is also a simple section to add headline, and then instead of adding two, I added three sections, which you can still find over here. You can add up to like whatever, 4 or something like that. And so I dragged it and dropped it over here, and then that was easy. These are just images, GIFs. By the way, how did I get these GIFs? It was easy enough to go in here and actually just drag and drop their images. So that was easy. The FAQ section is also very easy. How did I do this? It's called the accordion header. So you have to still go over here. I like to just type it in, accordion, and you can choose your style. There's also other styles, and you can choose the way that to customize. Now, how do you make this round? It's very simple. Once again, you can just go in here, same as before. Where is it? Border. Yeah, this is the border. This is the color, and then this is the radius. As you can tell, right? We like to do 30, as it's nice and round. And here you can just add the reviews. Once again, this is the final page. It's slightly different compared to this one, but once again, it took me literally 1 hour of my time to create a high converting website and landing page that looks branded, has a good color scheme, and it's very simple to use. Now, how did I come up with this? I'm just going to talk about one more thing here, because this was the most complicated thing to build. It's not that hard. So you have to just go in here. Let me just build it again with you. This is a top header. Let's see if we can find that again. No, it's not called top header. It's called, let me find it for you. It's called tab. There it is. You can just drag and drop a tab. This is exactly how it works, and then once you click on the tab, you can change the names here. You can add whatever you want. Benefits, what's included. Once again, we just literally copied and pasted what they have over here, and then it's the format is slightly different, but I actually feel like this is better. And once you had these tabs, you can add other elements within it. So I just added a headline, another headline, and then I added a list, as you can tell over here. This is the list, and you can just drag it and drop it over here once again for the sake of the example, and then you can add your own thingies over here. You can also customize these icons click on the icon, you can choose the icon, you can choose the size of the icon, you can do everything. And the beauty of this tool is that it's pretty simple. I mean, you're probably going to get a little confused in the beginning, but this is, I mean, why I'm doing this video. I'm trying to show you what you can do. And you can also add the add to cart button. To add the add to cart button, just click on add to cart. Where is it? Shopify product add to cart. You can, it's going to look weird, in fact, but you have to select the product once again because it's automatically going to add to cart. And then, yeah, see, it's gonna look very weird, and then all you have to do is like make sure that it looks like that. So like change the color, go in here, I'm gonna do it with you very quickly. Change the color, right? Make sure it's like that color, whatever. Yeah, this one. Then you can also choose to go over here and change the, enable full width. So in this case, it's, this long because we dragged it on the bottom. You can also change the text over here. I want this to be black. How do I do that? I go in styling. I go into, where is it? Color, black, and boom. You can do whatever you want. Once again, let me know if you have any questions, but this is pretty straightforward. One thing that you can do to start getting some content is you can go into their ads library and start getting these videos. I'm not like, don't copy, right? These are just some resources that maybe you can repurpose in some way. Don't really use their content, especially if you're going all in, like eventually make your content. But one thing that you can do is click on over here, right click, inspect, and you're gonna find this source, right? SRC, and this link is the link of the video, so you can copy it, you can paste it or not. One second, let me go back. Yeah, make sure that it's only this. I also copied that one. So copy, paste, and then it's gonna download the video for you. You can download it. Once you download it, you can drag it and drop it into your desktop, and then the only thing they have to do is add the MP4. So .mp4, and then it's going to say, are you sure you want to transform this into MP4? You say yes, and then it's going to show you the video, and then you can use it wherever, like however you like and want. It's like a normal MP4 video. I just wanted to show you this trick because it's an interesting one. You can find a lot of interesting ads in the ads library, and you can just go in here and do that little trick so that you can get more content for your ads, for your creatives, and for your landing page. Anyways, I just wanted to show you these couple of things. This is the strategy. Like if you don't have any capital to invest into like high dev work, I can assure you like this landing page, there are some like a little more advanced features, right? But it's nothing too complicated to build. You can build it on Pagefly and you can launch in one day, which is the beauty of this entire process. This next module is going to be extremely exciting because it's going to be about creatives and scaling creatives, specifically about scaling the creative input so that we can then scale our advertising side as well. So in this next video that you're going to see, I'm going to talk specifically about how to funnel hack companies and how to use creative tools to really get your creative game to the next level. I hope you enjoy. Let me just start with what the tool is. This is Archer, and what I want to do in this video is bring you through my exact process and thought process, most importantly, so you understand the framework of how I look and use look ads and use these tools. Is I'm going to show you the process of how I would funnel hack companies, how I would come up with ideas, what I would look for, what things I should do, and when. Okay. And so first of all, Asha is basically a tool that allows you to funnel hack the entire competition, market, landing pages, ads, scripts. And what it does is that it also creates similar scripts for you. So for example, if you just love this video ad, you can just click on it, and it will bring you to the ad. You can, first of all, you can download the video if you want, and then you could add tags, whatever, but also you can transcribe the script. Okay, so what you can do here is, let's just assume that we're going after a beauty company and we're selling this sculptor, and this is one of our best competitors. What you can do is, within this tool, which is absolutely amazing, is that you can follow the brand, and if you follow the brand, you will have access to this extra little dashboard over here, and this is where you can track all of the best winning landing pages. As you can see, they're sending 35% or more of their traffic to this specific landing page, which we can just clearly open and see what they're doing. And so as you can see here, it seems like they're running some sort of listicle landing page where they talk about, you know, top 5 reasons or whatever. And so this is a great way to understand what offers they're running, what's their funnel, where they're redirecting most of their traffic. And this is really important. So let me actually just take a step back and show you one of the sheets that we use at the agency to track tests and first of all track competitors. Okay, so let me actually show you this first. So why am I showing you this? What I want to do in this video is show you how we track competitors, what to look for, how to funnel hack companies so you can do the same with your e-commerce brand and come up with new ideas every single month or every single week. And then I'm going to show you how to track creative tests once you have those ideas, right? Because the concept here is that you track competitors to come up with winning ideas yourself. Once you have the winning ideas and marketing angles that you know work, then you can pretty much build your own. But how do you build your own? Well, you have to do it in a systematic way, and I'm going to show you a couple sheets which I can also give you access if you ask for it. And also another sheet that's really going to be helpful. Okay, so first of all, we go over here, we track the landing pages. What I would do first of all is pretty much, since this is a very popular landing page for them, I would go in my sheet, in the competitor section, my dream, this is them, landing page over here, boom. And then we can also kind of like, not really break down, but just do notes and write down things like they are redirecting traffic to an advertorial, if I can spell, yes. And then we can go back over here and we can pretty much also understand the distribution between videos and images, which is very fundamental. Why is this important? Well, because if they're spending in 2,477 ads, and we can also filter by active ads, just to make sure that we're filtering by active ads, almost 2,500 ads. So they're definitely doing something right. They're probably doing 7 figures a month in revenue. So they're a multi-8-figure company. So I would definitely, make conclusions based on what I'm seeing over here. So we can also add over here that they're running 70% of videos and 30% of images. So this is kind of the proportion that they're going after. Go back over here, 70% videos and 30% images. Boom, good to note. And then let's just see, ad links. So here we can just start tracking some ads that are working very well so that later on we can kind of like explore what they're doing. And so one thing that I love to do here with this tool is that you can filter by longest running ads, okay? And this will allow you to understand exactly the ads that have been running the most. And typically what happens is that as you scale, ads get just burnt, but the ones that stick are of course the profitable ones. So this ad has been running for like 8-9 months, January, right? And so this basically means that these ads are, if they're not turning them off, as you can see it's green, it's active, it means that they're still generating revenue and profit for them, which is really, really important. So one thing that I would do is, let's just say we're going after this device over here. So we can just click over here, copy the link, and of course we can what I would do is actually take my time and study the ones that are you think you could reproduce as well, right? Because some of these are maybe just too much of a high level for you in terms of resources, because they have a lot. And so just based on what resources you have, I would just also choose the ones. But filter by longest running ad, this is really, really important. So you would go over here and just track your ad results over here. Just bear with me, I'm going to show you some other things that are really, really high level in just a second to help you with creative tests. And then what you like about the ad, you can write your observation. And then most importantly, this is really, 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 really important. Extremely important, because this will dictate your success. If you don't understand how to scale with marketing angles, your ads are not going to work, because you can spend all the time that you want building different creative concepts, but if you don't crack the code with winning marketing angle, then it's going to be very hard. So what marketing angle are they promoting? Okay, so we have to read a little bit here. I even got a text. Let me see. I'm doing this with you, right? If I wasn't in menopause, I would be pregnant. This device lifted my skin and gave it a glow I never had before. Let's see what the ad says.
I'm 61 years young, and I'm here to share do's and don'ts that help me age gracefully. I don't do Botox, neither facial surgery.
So this could be an angle over here. If I can pause this ad.
Microcurrent.
Let's just take a look at another one, and bear with me.
This device has been breaking the internet. It's supposed to snatch your face and lift.
Non-surgical way to get an instant neck lift. So what they're doing here, and hopefully you're still with me, is that they're doing non-surgical. So basically they're promoting the angle of basically, where's the sheet, of just use a natural way to lift your skin. So wrong column. Natural remedy to lift your skin. And so this is one angle, right? The angle could be, the marketing angle could be instead of going and doing your surgery, which has very negative effects, use this natural remedy, which you can use 10 minutes every single morning, and it will, make a major impact within how you see your neck or whatever. So this would be another example. Another example that I think I remember that they were using is just jawline. Okay, so they were basically basing their creative on the jawline. You want to have a good jawline. Another one that I saw was basically cheekbones. So basically the cheekbone area. And another one that I really liked is basically the turkey neck. And so they were essentially saying, when you get 40, 50, 60 years old, you essentially have this like turkey neck. And women obviously don't like it. So this is a very big pain point for 40, 50, 60-year-old. Another angle that I saw that they were doing, I think most of them, I think most of these creatives are based on like 40 plus year olds. But I also saw another competitor called Lumina, something like this. There they are. They're also doing quite well. They have like 250 active ads, which probably means that they're spending north of like $150,000 to $200,000 a month. So they're probably close to 7-figure months, if not over 7-figure months for sure. And what they're doing here is that they see double chin. Double chin is also like a marketing angle. And so what I would, going back to the sheet over here, I would add like company, Luminesh, whatever they were called. I would put the ad link over here, and I would also add double chin. And so what I'm doing here is I'm collecting data, right? This is very easy, like this is 3rd grade level, but I'm showing you what you should look for and what aspects of an advertising campaign you should actually analyze. The hook, the marketing angle is the most important thing. So now that you understand how to use this tool, which is very, very helpful, now let's move on. Now that we have an idea of what our competitors are doing and we kind of got inspiration from them, we can actually come up with our own creative tests, which I like to structure over here. Now, before I move on and show you, I also have another really, really cool sheet to show you, so stick with me. Before I show you how we structure our creative testing so that we can understand what is actually working, we have to understand that most people and why they are not able to scale is because they're not able to track their numbers, okay? So what we're doing here is essentially within each test that we create, we are going to track every single number within the ad account. So spend, ROAS, CTR, cost per click, conversion rate, AOV, CPM, hook rate, and hold rate. And these are, of course, detrimental to also understand the success of the video if they're doing well. And of course, ROAS is one of our North Star metrics. Why do we do this? Well, we want to do this because each concept that we test which by the way, each concept that we test is like several, like 3 to 5 video ads, right? I'm going to show you how we structure it later on. And don't worry, everything will be clear. But what we do is basically, we do this to track performance so that we can also create graphical representations of what hooks work, what is our win rate, meaning if we test 10 ad sets or 10 marketing angles, what is our win rate? In this case, it's like whatever, 10%. These are like some random charts. What is the distribution between video ads and images that we're testing? Because of course we're putting labels. And so this is a very organized way, a neat way to kind of just look at a dashboard and say, okay, this is what is working. This is the type of marketing angle that is working and that is the most profitable for us. And then of course we track results over here. So a win, to be determined, a loser. This is also like random. This should probably be a win over here. And this is like a break even, let's just say, because our break even is 1.5, right? So we basically, you can fill this up maybe once a week, twice a week. You can have a VA do this for you every single day if you want, but this is a very systematic way. Now, this is really, really important. Once we come up with, we did a bunch of competitive research and we basically came up with new ad ideas and creatives and marketing angles. Then once again, one marketing angle will be one row. And what we do here is that we fill up all these columns, but then we have a full creative test. And this is basically another sheet that I created, which you can just open. And it's gonna basically link you to the entire creative test. So what is a creative test? Basically over here, this is where it's gonna link us to. This is another sheet. Let me just show you how it works. Each sheet is basically a product. So each product is a sheet. And if we have another product that we're testing, it's essentially going to be the same exact sheet that you see over here, but just it's going to be its own individual sheet, a dedicated sheet for the product. Okay. And so this keeps things very organized. And so what we want to do here is that as we clicked on this link, essentially it's going to bring us to this, the entire test. And what is the test? It's basically, the 3 videos, 2 ad copies, and 2 headlines. Okay, so this is a 3-2-2 methodology. You might have heard of this before. We've actually gradually started implementing this for other clients as well. Not all of them, but for most of them, and it's working very well. So the idea here is that for every test that you go and test on your ad account, you test 3 videos, 2 ad copies, and 2 headlines with the flexible or like the dynamic creative. And so you basically let Facebook choose where it wants to spend. And so of course, once again here, since if we add all of the information here, it would get very easily cluttered. Once again, if you click over here, it's going to bring you over here, and you're going to see the angle as well, the marketing angle, and just how we're presenting ourselves to the market, which avatar customer. So in this example, we're going for the natural solution, no surgery. And so basically it's going to be natural a solution without need of surgery. What's the main emotion or desire where it's being worried or scared because you don't want to get surgery and get, essentially ruin your neck or whatever. This is for 40 plus women. And then the messaging is forget about expensive and unsafe surgery, use a natural solution that can bring you back in time. And so what essentially we're doing here is organizing everything. And then of course we can put our feedback here, and then we can approve the status of each video, creative and headline and everything. And once everything is approved, this is probably going to go in your ad account, right? And then you can track the performance in the ad account and of course track it over here. Now this is a very neat and organized way. Same thing with copy, you write them over here. It's the same thing, you just fill it up. And then of course I don't have the links here, but these would be the links of the actual video ads. Okay, so this is how it should look like. This allows us to streamline the process and organize everything. Now we could actually add all this information into this other sheet, but it's just like it would just be too much information into one, and so we just kind of like organized it here. Also because ideally, like for the facial sculptor, for example, we would end up having so many tests, and so it would just be too confusing if we have it in one. So this is how we organized it. And once again, the power of the strategy is to keep every single angle organized. As you can see, the double chin angle, the spot treatment at home to save money angle, turkey neck angle, facelift before night out. This is an amazing one I would test. Like if we want to do a night out, this is for like 20 to 35 year olds, which is not exactly what they're doing because they're doing like 40-60 targeting, but it's maybe more what they're doing. They're targeting like a lower demographic. And so you basically, the angle is like, instead before going out, do a facelift within 10 minutes. So this is a very good one. And this is how I would structure it. And once again, the powerful thing about this sheet is that you get to track all of these metrics and that are also color coded. Okay, they're color coded, and we can understand exactly from within 30 seconds we can understand what angles are working and what we can double down on. And this section over here, these are basically notes and learnings and next tests, because the worst thing that you can do is hope that something sticks on the wall, as I said before, and then you don't really have a strategy to test next things. And so here you would write your notes and say, this is what I want to test next, maybe a different hook, and then you have it there and you can come back to it. And basically this is like documenting your entire creative, like your entire business from a creative infrastructure and standpoint. You're tracking all of your creatives, and you know exactly what works and what are the next steps, so that you never end up in a position where you have zero understanding of what's going on creatively, but also in a position where you have zero ideas of what to do next, which is the worst if you're trying to scale profitably and increase your ad spend. In this next video, still under module 4, I'm going to talk about how to find creators, how to vet them, how to come up with deal structures that make sense for you as well, and also how to automate the process of finding creators so that you have always a full pipeline of these people and you can always scale your content side of the business. Okay, this is really, really important. I hope you enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions about this video. Now, let's talk about the most important thing, probably the initial step. How do we find these creators? There's several different ways to do this, okay? My favorite way is Twitter, Facebook groups, Twitter and Facebook groups, to be honest. The other two ways that you can do this, there's probably other ways, but these are like some of the methods that we've used to find content creators, okay? UGC platforms, and you can just buy UGC lists. And so these are just 4 methodologies that are pretty common nowadays. Let me show you what I mean by Twitter, Facebook groups, UGC platforms, and buying lists. Let me share my screen over on the other side. Okay, it's simple. It's very, very simple. Do not overcomplicate the process. Go on Twitter and type in UGC creators, and you will literally find people that raise up their hand and say, I want to work with you. They have their email address, super easy to contact. They have their portfolios. So these people are actually content creators that have experience, that have a portfolio. Once again, UGC creator for 80 plus D2C brands. This person alone has worked with over 80 e-commerce brands. So they have experience and they want to work with you, right? They want to build relationships. So this is one way to do it. It's an absolute gold mine. Okay, people don't know about it very often, but you just have to go on UGC creators and go under people and look, like it's unlimited. And you can also do more specific searches, so maybe by skin type, black male, white female, Spanish creators, Swedish creators. Like you can go more in depth, but I like to do something general at first and then we can go into the weeds later. Anyways, method number 2. What was method number 2? Facebook groups. If I have a Facebook group here, this is a random Facebook group that I just went on Facebook and I typed in UGC creator group and I went under the group section and I found this group that has 45,000 members. Okay, and I also stopped by this post that has over 57 comments. I know that there's other posts that have like way more, like 100, 200, 300. And this is a brand owner, and she writes, looking for a UGC creator for a bikini brand, drop your Instagram below. Like, and yeah, 57 people that are literally raising their hand. And maybe you can also be a little more specific and write your guidelines. I only want to work with people that are open to this type of offer, this type of deal. And I'm going to go through exactly the deal structure that we use with them so that you don't waste your time. Okay. Now, this is method number 2. Method number 3 is using UGC platforms. There's platforms like Billo, like Coley, I think it's called, and there's other platforms that literally you go in there and they give you access to millions of people. The only problem with those platforms is that a lot of the people within the platform don't really have experience and are just trying to make a couple $100 a week or a month to get an extra bucket for them, and they're not experienced creators. They don't really have a portfolio, and that's why it's typically a lot cheaper to work with with Billo or Coley and all these UGC platforms. One other platform that I saw that I'm going to start using with my team, because I just saw it the other day, to be honest with you, so this is something new for me as well. It's UGC Star, and they have like a pretty big database, as you can see here, of people. Not sure why this is not loading, but they have like you can keep scrolling, but they have people that are they filter by gender, birthdays, age, country, what state, their rates, right? All the rates per video, perhaps their following, right? So you have basically all the entire information, plus you have a picture of them, which is really important because at first sight you can kind of see how they look and if they're a fit, if they are like, they could be considered avatar customers for your brand or for your product or whatever. So this is a good platform. I think it looks good. I just need to subscribe and tell you myself, but I'm going to start using it with my own agency for my clients. Okay. The other method was, what was the other method? Buying UGC lists. So I used to have it open. I don't have it open anymore. I don't want to do it right now, but you can go on Fiverr, right? You can go on Upwork, and you literally have people that already have these lists, and they will just sell the lists for you. So they will have all these things, and they can sell you a list that is specifically and vetted for what you're looking for. So you can ask them, okay, I want skincare person within the UGC that has a UGC portfolio, that is Black, that is Christian, that whatever. You can be as specific as possible. Of course, the more you're specific, the lower the chance that you're going to get a pretty big list, right? That for obvious reasons, I don't even explain that. But these are the methods I use, and I don't like to pay too much, right? I like to have source things internally. As an agency owner, having a company, I have payroll and employees, and I just bring everything in house. It's just natural for me to do that. Okay, so now that we went through that, we need to automate this process. Okay, we absolutely need to automate this process. And so the next step over here is to actually, before we talk about automation, let's talk about deal structure. I forgot about that. How do we want to work with these creators, right? There's two ways. That's not really complicated. You send a free product, or you send a free product plus you pay them a fee. Okay, and typically this is where a lot of companies are maybe not open to doing this, because it gets pretty expensive eventually. But these are a couple notes that I wrote. If you want to send a free product, there is just a higher chance that the creator doesn't have experience, as I say here, and is just trying to get a free product, and they might waste your time, to be honest. So we've done both models. We've just noticed that the quality and the consumption and time being wasted in resources is just higher if you send a free product and you don't pay them a fee. And typically also the level of experience is just not there. If we want to pay them a fee, which is typically around $100, you can find for $100. You can have a creator do 1 or 2 or 3 videos. So like one main video with like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 hooks, the first 5 seconds. I'm going to talk about that in just a second, actually. Super important. But yeah, you just, as I say here, higher chance that the creator is professional, responsive, has a great portfolio. At the end of the day, you get what you pay for, okay? And a lot of people don't understand that. And typically this is the model that we use and that my clients use. They'd rather just pay because we don't want to waste any time going after people that don't have a portfolio, are going to waste your time, just want a free product, right? Cool. Some things that we do as well with these creators, since we pay them, is that if the product is kind of complex and complicated, we ask for the product back. So the owner of the brand reserves like 20 products, not more than that, 10 products, 20 products, and they ship the product to the creator does the video, and then the creator ships the product back, and then they reuse the same product without having to waste a bunch of inventory, okay? Either way, I mean, you decide what you can do with your own brand, okay? let's talk about automating and finding the creators each week. You need to see creators as like a sales pipeline. If you don't have a sales pipeline, right, just like in sales, you don't have sales every week. You don't have a consistent lead flow. And if you don't have lead flow, you cannot choose who you want to work with or increase the revenue of your business, right? Same thing with finding creators. You need to build a pipeline, or else you're going to get to a point, right? If you do the job once, you're going to get to a point a month later where you're going to have to find new content creators and find new fits that are, are a good representation of your brand and want to work with you, right? So you have to fill in the pipeline. What I like to do is I like to hire typically a VA. I like working with people in the Philippines. They're super nice. They're also like, they have cheap rates. $3 an hour is actually, I believe, slightly above the average wage over there. So they're happy and motivated to work with you if you pay them $3-4 an hour. You hire a VA, you have them go through Twitter, Facebook groups, UGC platforms, buying lists, whatever. I'd rather do these two, I told you, and also exploring this UGC platforms strategy. Have them gather the information, have them add to an Excel sheet or a Google sheet, and I'm going to show you exactly how we do it and how we categorize the entire process. Have them contact them, establish rates and collaboration, ship the product, receive the UGC video. It's a very, very specific and easy process. But if you do it, you're not going to have the time to do other more important things like deciding what product to sell, to produce, to market, run the ads, right? So you want to streamline the process so that somebody else is doing it for you. This is exactly the types of columns that we have: location, age, gender, ethnicity, skin, hair type, right, body type. Mostly doing is like by niche, they're mostly doing cosmetics, like beauty products, furniture, stuff, I don't know. It's like the niche, right? If they have pets and if they have kids. So this is typically what we go after. And let me show you an example, a sample of my list here. If I go over here, this is a list database that my entire team created over the years. Let me just move myself very quickly here. But we have people in the US, Canada, UK, Ireland, Europe, Australia. And this is, by the way, just as like one of our lists. We have many, many more, dozens of more. And there's a lot of people here, guys. And I mean, these are just some of the creators that obviously we haven't worked with all of them, but these are creators that my team went in and vetted. The most important thing if you hire a VA is that you need to give them a very specific criteria. And if you don't give them a criteria, then they're just going to find random content creators. So give them a criteria based on your product, and then have her go in here, create a list, and insert the previous work, their pricing structure, their social media URL, and all the things that I mentioned before. Okay? In this video, still part of module 4, which is scaling with creatives, I'm going to talk about how to structure a storyboard, or a script, we can also call it, for UGC content creators. And there's nothing worse than giving the wrong script or giving the wrong direction to the creator. We want to give them proven frameworks. So I'm going to talk about these proven frameworks, and at the same time, at the end of the video, I'm going to discuss winning ads, and we can analyze them together so you know what it actually takes to create and produce a winning ad. I hope you enjoy. So let's go over here, let's hop into our free form and go over a couple examples. Now, we have to understand one thing. What makes a winning video ad or a winning creative, right? And by the way, in this video, I'm mostly gonna talk about like videos, okay? Because images are great, carousel image ads are great, they work well, maybe more for retargeting, sometimes not, right? But overall, videos will outperform images 100% of the time. It's actually statistically proven. Now, we have to understand what makes a winning creative a winner. And it's two things. First is the creator, right? You have to make sure that you're reaching out to the right creators based on what product you're selling, right? If you're selling to 70-year-olds, you got to make sure that your actual avatar, the content creator is maybe 50, 60, 70 years old as well, or else it doesn't make sense. And vice versa, if you're 20 and you're promoting if you're 70 and you're promoting to 20-year-olds, it's the same exact thing. Either way, that is really important, and that's probably 30% of the equation. If you find good creators, you're 30% right. You're done for 30%. The other 70% is the framework, because even if you have the best creator in the world and you give it the wrong framework, it's just not going to convert as well. You should see the framework as kind of like the offer and the landing page, right? You can have all the traffic that you want, right? But if they don't convert, right, it's essentially the storyboard. If it doesn't convert or the landing page doesn't convert, it doesn't make sense in the first place. So there's many different storyboards and structures that we have tested personally. And just to simplify the heck out of this video, I want to go ahead and share the frameworks that can be categorized into long and short. And these are universal frameworks that you can use pretty much in any type of product or actually even service, to be honest with you. So let's go over the long and then the short. And when I say long, this is typically a video that is like 1 minute long, sometimes even more than 1 minute long. As you can see, there's multiple rows here with the same, topic that is going to be covered. I'm going to talk about this in just a second. And then there's a shorter version, and this is more for like the 15-second, 30-second, maybe 45-second videos that you can use, right? It's different every time, of course. But let's talk about this framework over here. Long, we start with the hook, right? If there's no hook, and I'm going to talk about this in the video in just a couple minutes about the importance of the hook and how we come up with, ideas to make sure that people stick through. The hook is the most important thing, and it's the first 3 seconds, right? If you are not able to get people's attention in the first 3 seconds, you're out of luck, because people won't see your ad, they won't click on your CTA, your call to action, they will not look at your product page, and they probably won't buy your product. So it starts with the hook. Then you go into the problem and pain that the avatar customer is facing. We want to agitate the pain and maybe provide examples. Agitating the pain means you're introducing the pain, and then you're providing different resources, factual, scientific, whatever, actual facts that will agitate the pain even more, right? More pain points, right? And then you're gonna talk about, in this long form framework, about failed solutions, things that maybe they've tried in the past, right? So that you can get rid of all the objections, right? So for example, if you're quitting to smoke, right? If you're quitting to smoke, then you're probably gonna have as a failed solution, you tried vaping, right? It didn't help you to quit the smoke. It actually maybe did the opposite, right? So these are all examples of failed solutions. And then you present the solution at the end, right? And then you have features and benefits, and then call to actions. Now, there's also other iterations of this form or of this framework where the solution is actually presented right after the problem and pain is agitated, because some products in some scenarios this actually works very well, and actually I would say most of the scenarios, but maybe in some other split test versions you want to test presenting the solution or the product itself within the first 7 seconds of the video to see if it makes an effect, right? So this is just a framework. Make sure that you maybe play with it, but the way that the problem, pain, agitate, pain, failed solution, this is a great framework to follow. It has really worked well for us. Okay, now let's move on into the short form. The short, I would say it's like an abbreviation of the long form over here, and it's just a smaller version. So you have product and pain, product introduction, right? The product information, features, benefits, and features, benefits again. Legitimacy, which is also a good one that you could also add over here. And legitimacy is basically the proof, maybe that other people are using it, the product, maybe that it's backed by science or backed by a doctor, it's legitimate, maybe you've been featured in Forbes, right? And then a call to action. Once again, I'm not saying this is what you need to do. These are the two long and short form ad frameworks and storyboards that have been working well for us. So let's move on here and talk about a couple different things. And this is really important, so make sure you pay attention here. So the foundation of scaling winning ad creatives is making sure that you find so many different hooks and so many different storyboards, right, that work well, right, and that are proven to get you the results, and then you put them together. And then you create multiple variations from winning hook number 1 and winning storyboard number 3. And by the way, I like to divide the hook with the storyboard, because the hook is technically part of the storyboard, but the hook is kind of like one thing by itself. It's so fundamental. The first 3 seconds are so important that it's going to affect the entire video, right? And so the storyboard is more of like the rest of what's going on after the main hook. This is how I like to divide it. And so there's 2 really important formulas that you absolutely need to add to your ad account. If you're not tracking these formulas, and I'm going to go through it in just a second, it's basically almost impossible, other than ROAS, to understand if your ads are going in the right direction, and also to understand the effectiveness of your ads. The first is the hook rate, right? The hook, once again, is the first 3 seconds, and a great hook rate is 30 to 40%, meaning that 30 to 40% of the people that see your ad are actually watching for at least 3 seconds, okay? This is a good hook rate. The second thing is the hold rate. How long are your users actually watching the entire ad? And so a good hold rate, right, you're holding them to watch the video, is 45 to 50%. So if you can find winning hooks that are 30 to 40% and winning hold rates, or winning frameworks that allow hold rates to be high, let's just frame it like that, then you're basically set up to success, right? And so whenever we scale clients to $700,000 per month, we essentially have dozens of proven hooks and dozens of proven storyboards that are proven to increase hold rate. So let's go through how to actually show this in the ad account. You need to go, let me just show you very quickly, it'll take a second. So let's go with hook rate, and the formula is the first 3-second views divided by impressions. So you essentially go over here into the ad account. Where is it? Over here, ad account. You go, let me start from the beginning. This is just a test ad account, whatever. You go into customize columns, boom. Then you go into create custom metric, and then you go here and you do 3-second video plays divided by impressions. And this is essentially the hold rate, or sorry, the hook rate, my bad, hook rate. If you want to do the hold rate, right, then it's another formula, which is, let me go back here, bear with me, through plays divided by impressions. And this is analyzing the effectiveness of the entire ad, how long people actually stick. So play, 1 second, through plays, sorry, I always get confused. Through plays divided by impressions, I can't spell today, then this is the hold rate, okay? So make sure that you have 2 columns in your ad account, and now that I showed you how to do it, and make sure that these are the columns. And then make sure that you highlight a percentage so that they come up in percentages, or else it just doesn't make sense, okay? So I just wanted to show you this. Going back to the free form. Now, once you have all these, then you put them all together and you create multiple other variations with this, with a similar storyboard, right, with proven frameworks and proven structure that have been working before. And the most important thing, once again, is that you combine these two together and you really understand the psychology and the framework of why these things work, and you just put them together. And so you end up with like unlimited winning ads, and that's how you scale. You don't scale by focusing your time on your ad account, right? It doesn't work this way. You focus by, you scale by focusing on the back end, so like the creative part, right? And this is how we do it. Now, let me share my screen here, and make sure, guys, to stick until the end if you want to get access to the same exact resource that we use. It's basically 600 plus hooks, the frameworks of 600 plus winning hooks. And we just basically, whenever we want to come up with a new idea, we look at this document, and I'm going to show you in at the end of the video, so make sure to stick until the end. We use this document and we come up with a dozen, 50, 100 new ideas, and guess what? That's how we find winning concepts. So let's go over here. I know I'm dragging this video a little bit, but I want to talk about very quickly, I want to analyze an ad with you guys. I want to do it together so that we can understand the psychology behind why some ads work and how they follow our frameworks. So now what you're seeing here, this is Archa. This is an amazing tool that we use. I want to analyze a company called Cure Skincare. They're making, let's see how much they're making. This is one of their landing pages. Absolutely amazing. By the way, if you're looking to scale and grow and build your landing pages, model theirs, because they are doing exactly, let me show you live here. They are generating around 385, 370, let's say almost 400,000 visitors per month. And I did a calculation earlier that if we just put a 2% and like an $80 average order value, and their average order value is like way above $80. It's actually way above $80. This is in dirhams, but their AOV is probably around like $120, $130. Then they're probably making $1 million a month or more, probably even $2 million a month. So I want to choose winning companies that are running 730 ads. This is how I know exactly and for a fact that they are winners. So I went on and let me just move myself a little bit and pulled up one of their winning ads. And what I want to do here is kind of like compare it. Perfect, I got it here. Compare it to one of the hooks that I mentioned over here. So it's probably going to be this one if I remember correctly. So let's go through this video together and analyze it. So by the way, they're selling like a skincare product. So that was, this was the hook. If you haven't noticed, want glass skin, toss out your derma roller. So this is the hook. Now let's move on. It's painful and can irritate your skin. Guess what? This is problem / the pain. So this is exactly the framework that we're using over here. These are just features, benefits, information about the product. At this point, they've already introduced the product, right? And then they talk about product information, features, benefits, features, benefits. Then you go here, features, benefits, features, benefits. Let me just play the video so you can kind of see. The same exact thing. And then they come until the end over here where they show the legitimacy. This is essentially just a very quick frame of like a couple UGC people, right, that use the product. So let me show you.
This treatment is so easy to use, and my skin has never looked better. Just look at that glow.
Exactly. So this is the legitimacy, showing more proof that other people are using the product and that it works. And this is a call to action over here at the bottom. Shop now, save 43% on a 3-month supply. This is the exact framework, right? So we don't do things randomly, right? We follow winning frameworks. And why I like this video, so I actually have another example here, but why I love this software so much is that you can go onto other winning ads. Let me just move myself. And guess what you can do with this tool? It's called Autria. Try.autria.com. You can go in here and create similar or transcribe the video, the entire video script. Don't have time for clinical treatments, hook, right? All these things. It follows the exact same framework. And guess what you can do? You can only just copy it. I don't advise you to copy it, but you can create a similar script over here. So if you click on here, I think it's because it's slowing down, right? It will generate another script generated by AI that is similar. Okay, so I really recommend this tool. Now let's go down to the end of the video, right? By the way, I do have other. Let me see. Yeah, never mind. I'm going to do another video about that. But either way, this is the framework. And by the way, guys, bear with me. This is, once again, super raw content. I'm not even going to edit all these things. I'm just trying to provide as much value as possible. In this next video, still part of module 4, I'm going to talk about one of the methods that we use to scale content creation and scale UGC videos, right? One point is getting videos and getting your first batch, but when you want to scale your content, it becomes quite confusing. What do I do? Where do I go? What strategy do I use? What framework that works to actually scale your content, right? So in this video, I'm going to talk about one strategy that we use that has really helped us scale our UGC content and just content in general. I hope you enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions. So let's start with the creative framework, okay? So I always like to say, and by the way, this creative framework is in regards to how to actually scale with UGC and how to decide how many creators, how many creatives. I'm gonna bring you through the exact process. So this is where it all starts. You need a winning offer, you need a winning product, or else anything that I'm talking about actually doesn't really make too much sense. If you don't have a winning product or a winning offer, it's hard to do anything that I'm talking about. So make sure you find that. Either way, you want to test a winning offer in different angles. And once again, make sure to stick until the end because I'm going to talk about this specific aspect, which is fundamental to the entire system of how to choose the right angles. Because many people just sell one product in one way, but there's actually dozens, 50, 100 different ways of selling the same exact product, but with different marketing angles and different perspectives, right? I'm going to go through that in just a second. But once you find your winning angle, right, then you can scale that angle and then you can go all in into user-generated content, right? If you're not familiar with what UGC is, user-generated content, you should by now because it's one of the most hot topics when it comes to scaling your e-commerce brand. And it actually doesn't have to be e-commerce, it can be a product or a service. User-generated content is what actually scales because the piece of content is very, very extremely relatable to, you know, to your service and what you're offering. Either way, once you find the angle, this is what I advise you to do, and this is what we've done with our clients. You find the angle, and then you decide to work with perhaps 5 different creators. And of course, if you haven't noticed yourself, the green, these boxes are green because it's a proven concept that worked. The other creators and the other boxes that are blue are just concepts that did not work and were not maybe profitable, right? So the green ones are the ones that are proven. So invest into UGC only once you have a winning angle and a winning offer. By the way, how do you even know that it's a winning angle? The moment you turn on the ads, they're profitable and their ROI worthy. If they don't have an ROI, once again, I would keep the UGC portion after, because it's expensive and it can get, very time consuming at the same time. So find your UGC creators, have them test 2 to 3 different hooks. Give them a framework, and I'm going to talk about the framework of how to set it up here. Don't worry about it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to go over this in just a couple minutes, but give them a specific framework of how to structure the video and have them do between 2 and 3 different hooks. And a hook is the first 5 seconds of the video. And the first 5 seconds of the video, when it comes to social media ads, are typically the most crucial component. And essentially what it is the first 5 seconds. So once again, you partner with a creator, you give them a framework, and you tell them to create 2 to 3 different variations at the start of the video so that you can split test those variations, right? So once again, we have them create around 5 videos. If you can't afford 5, maybe do 3, once again with 2 to 3 hooks, and you find the winning concept that works. And once you find the 2 creators that work and the UGC videos that work, you've tried to replicate with 5 other creators the same exact framework, the same exact script, right? Similar hooks, and most importantly, similar creators, right? If you can find the same exact creator, right, or a very similar creator that has similar physical characteristics or speaks in a very similar way, then this is going to increase the likelihood of the actual UGC video to perform just like the previous ones. So this is kind of like the creative framework, a 30,000 foot view on the top, okay? In this next video, still part of module 4, I'm going to talk about a revolutionary strategy that has allowed us to really scale our content creation, specifically UGC. It's cheap, it's scalable, and I really recommend it whether you're starting out or whether you're scaling to the next level because you are increasing your ad spend, or that's what you want to do at least. Okay, with no further ado, I hope you enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions here. And in this diagram, I'm going to show you how we are able to generate way more UGC videos while maintaining our costs, or actually really drastically decreasing our cost per video that we used to for the production of UGC videos. Okay, so as you know, content is really important. If you're watching this video, you are probably aware of that, but you also know that generating content can be really expensive, right? Each creator can ask for $300, for $200, $250, $150, depending on the experience and also perhaps the following, depending on what type of collaboration you do with them, for one video, right? One video $250, one video $150, right? So it can get quite expensive as you stack. So typically, what most people do is that they partner with 5 UGC videos and they just ask for that one UGC video, and they provide them with like one particular script that they need to follow, like a storyboard. And the content creator has one role: to receive the product, record the video with that particular script. And this is, although we actually still use this process because it can be great, especially for winning ads or storyboards or scripts that you already know for a fact, based on experience and based on data, are concepts that are already going to scale, right? But once again, I don't advise you to start like this because it can get quite expensive and it stacks. So what we like to do is an alternative strategy, which is really great for scaling, but also when you're starting out, so that you can you can diversify your content as much as possible. Is instead of asking them for one single video, you ask them for 15 to 20 videos. The time that they spend to do one video, one entire followed script video, compared to getting B-roll, which is essentially filming small 3 to 5 second scenes of them holding the product, or them consuming the product, or them being happy, them being sad, emotional, pain-driven, scenes, right? All these little small scenes, it takes them the same amount of time to do this compared to doing a normal UGC video. So the cost is going to be approximately the same. The only difference is that with this approach, you just get a lot of footage. And what happens when you get a lot of footage? You can just create your own content based on these little small scenes. And what you can do is that as you scale and as you grow, you basically do this for like 3, 4, 5 creators. If you're starting out, you can probably do it with just 2 or 3 creators. Ask for 15 to 20 B-roll scenes. Just make sure that you give them a very clear understanding of what scenes that you need. Share like an example of like a UGC video and tell them, hey, Mr. Creator, Mrs. Creator, just model this video to come up and dissect this video into like 3 to 5 second scenes, so that I can use these scenes and build my own video, right? So the entire foundation of the strategy is to get a lot of 15 to 20 B-rolls and footages for each creator, so that they can we can then put everything into a giant B-roll video folder and cut, copy, paste, switch around, do mashups, and basically come up with so many different variations of B-roll footages, right? And this is how we're able to scale horizontally and stack our ad spend and increase our ad spend vertically, right? So This is what we do. It's very simple process. You just need to be able to tell the creator exactly what you're looking for, and they will understand if they have experience. Okay, so this is the strategy. Instead of getting 3 videos, we got basically 45 different little small pieces of content. Then the next step, and this is something to consider, is that typically when you ask for a normal UGC video, the video is going to be sent to you already edited. It's going to be complete, almost like, sure, you're probably going to have to maybe add some subtitles or add some whatever, branding, whatever you want. But typically, whenever you pay for 150 bucks for a video, 200, it's going to be essentially complete, and you can basically just get it and post it on social media. The problem, not the problem, but the only difference with this B-roll strategy, although it's like way cheaper based on the value that you get, is that you need an editor. So you can either be your own editor or you can just hire somebody else to do this. The idea is that they need to understand how to put these pieces together. And how do you do it? How do you know what pieces to put together? Well, you go into tools where you can just track the best winning ads of your competitors, and you can just maybe get inspiration from there. One tool that I love is called Triatria, A-T-R-I-A, Triatria. This tool allows you to funnel hack the entire competition, look at their landing pages, etc., but also look at their ads and their longest running ads, so you can get inspiration from their scripts. Okay, so this being said, what ends up happening here is, instead of just having 3 videos, we can create so many different B-roll variations, as I explained. And so one important thing to tell the creator while you're asking them to do these videos is to make sure that they portray different scenes, or sorry, they create different 3 to 5 second scenes of emotions, because one thing that allows us to scale is scale by different marketing angles. So different marketing angles can be like different value propositions or different emotions that we're bringing up within the video. And so it's important to ask for different scenes, different actions that the content creator can do for the video, and also different emotions like happy, sad, before, after, right? All these things are really important, so that you can actually build one single video from all of these small video variations. Okay, so eventually what ends up happening is that we can scale even more aggressively by scaling with AI scripts. And as you know, like, you can use like 11 Labs to just come up with new scripts. You can just use AI to you can just give it like the winning script and tell it to generate 5 other similar scripts, or 5 other completely different scripts, right? Depending on what you're looking to do and scale and test, right? But eventually what's going to happen is that let's just say we end up having 5 B-rolls. That's our first round. So B-roll variations, sorry. So these are like 5 different videos. And within these 5 different videos, we can further scale and further test with multiple scripts generated by AI. So the video can be almost the same. You can just change of course, the subtitles that you put in the videos based on the script, and just, of course, the script overall. So maybe in one script 1, you want to go for the happy angle, or the sad angle, or the whatever boyfriend girlfriend angle script, whatever you want. Just make sure that the script is actually coherent to the variation that you're creating in the B-roll. That's probably, of course, the most important thing. You can't just like do random shit, right? It has to make sense. And so what do I say here? Yeah, voiceover scripts. Okay, now what you can do to scale even further, right? And by the way, let's just take a step. Actually, let me just talk about this later. What you can do to actually scale further is just test multiple different hooks. So once you find a winning, let's just say script that is really scalable and is really working well and performing well, then the next step is probably to go here and get the same variation, get the same exact video, use the same exact script, but like exactly script 3, but test different hooks. And the hook is the first 3 to 5 seconds. And so what you can do is that you can go into the B-roll folder over here, and you can just look for different hooks that maybe inspire different types of emotions, and you see which one works the best. You will notice as you scale that you're going to find those 2, 3, 4 things that really work well, that are for a particular avatar customer, that use a particular marketing angle, that use a particular editing style. You will notice some trends, and that is when you will start replicating the entire process to scale and scale aggressively. And by the way, like this process that we use has allowed us to essentially scale accounts from 100, 200, 300, sometimes you have like more than $300,000 in ad spend in one single month, which is very it's a lot if you think about it. And yeah, it's hard to maintain that ad spend profitably if you don't have a process like this. And this is kind of like the end result that you can expect. You can get like dozens and dozens and dozens of videos made just from investing into 5, 6, maybe 10 creators once, and asking them to do way more UGC videos. So instead of paying the creator 150 a pop, 200 a pop, and you get 5 videos, maybe you also get 5 videos with like 2 or 3 different hooks. That's typically what happens. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 15 to 20 B-rolls, and then you can just hire an editor or do it yourself if you have experience, and come up with almost unlimited pieces of content like this. Boom, 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 boom. It's loading. Okay, basically a lot of content. Okay, this is just a quick video. I honestly wanted to bring you through this process because a lot of my clients ask what's happening here right now, the delay of my screen. Either way, I wanted to bring you through this process because this is quite detrimental when it comes to scaling. As I told you before, this is how advertising works in general. Okay, you have social media and then you have Google Ads. In social media, you cannot just increase the spend. Okay, that it's not doesn't work like this. You have to make sure that your creative input is always above your spend, so you always have a surplus of creatives, and that's what we're kind of trying to do with all stacking all of these B-roll pieces of content, so that if we wake up tomorrow, we don't have to go after 10 other creators. We can just like mix variations and come up with a new batch of for creative testing. And once again, you can be very very creative with the AI voiceovers. That's we've seen scenarios where we use the same exact UGC B-roll, but we just switch and kind of like switch the script a little bit, switch scenes, and it really makes a difference in the performance of the video. So make sure to test that. The script, at the end of the day, the marketing angle, the way that you're approaching your market is going to be probably one of the most important things. Then of course comes the the footage, because it's a visual concept, right? It's videos. But as I said, you always want to make sure that creatives, there's always a surplus of creatives. How do you do that cheap? You do it like this. Okay, so follow this. Let me know if you have any questions about this. And by the way, I also talk about Google here, the difference kind of with Google. It's your creative is essentially your market volume. So if your market is over here, meaning that you can only target 10,000 people search, then that's essentially how much you can spend, right? It's a lot harder to scale, which is why most of our clients spend 70% of their budget or more in social ads. And this is the strategy that we use to scale. This next module is advertising, and so in this video I'm going to bring you through an ad account, a client ad account that is spending I believe 7-10, I think we scaled it to over $20,000 a day in spend eventually, but I'm going to bring you through the ad account structure and pretty much our thought process behind how we actually structured the account in the first place. I hope you enjoy, and let me know if you have any questions. This is a brand that we're scaling. If you haven't been following my channel in the last week, I'm just documenting this client. As you can see, we scaled to like $30,000. I'm not sure why this is lagging so much. There we go. But yeah, just yesterday we hit $30,000 in sales, and the good news is that we literally just started scaling, and I received news from my media buyer and my head of performance at my agency, Brandlux Media, and we are looking to hit probably $15,000 to $25,000 in ad spend, not even revenue, just in ad spend. Right now, I'm going to show you through the ad account right now. But right now, I think we're spending 7, 8, 9K a day in spend, in daily spend. And so I'm going to bring you through the exact landing page structure. And if you can see here, just so you know that we actually, grow companies year over year. This is a 300% increase just compared to last year for this particular client. Okay, so let me actually go through the ad account. And I'm excited about this because every single time I receive I receive questions about, okay, how do you structure the ad account? How do you structure the ad account? And I always reply, guys, it's simple. It's very simple. Focus on the creative, focus on the marketing, focus on the landing pages, focus on the offers. And everybody kind of gets pissed off, and I understand why. But I want to show you, and this is probably going to be one of my favorite videos, show you how simple it is to set up an ad account that actually works, and how important the rest of the things in business are compared to just like tweaking the ad account so much. Okay, so let's actually go through it. I'm excited, and let's get it going. So this is basically the ad account. Okay, and let me just refresh so you know this is real once again. And so the company is making was in the last 30 days they make like $330,000, as you saw before, and we spent 100, and we're also spending I believe 20 to 30 grand on Google as well. Okay, so it's actually extremely profitable because their break even is like 1.4x return. So for every dollar they spend, if they make 1.4 back, they break even. They also don't have any fixed costs. This is like a great actually business model, and so this is like an operation that is really running profitably. And the great thing is that we're actually maintaining the profitability as we're scaling. Okay, so in the last 30 days we spent over $100,000. Over $100,000 in ad spend. Okay, if we just look at the last 7 days, that's when we actually started scaling a lot more aggressively, right? Basically over half of the ad spend, almost 45,000, is coming just from the last 7 days. Now you might be noticing, right? Of course there's a bunch of campaigns here, but you might be noticing we're spending 100K a month, right? We're probably going to spend way more than that, probably $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a day in ad spend. Why is the ad account just with a couple campaigns? Literally, we're spending in 3 campaigns. Why do you think that is the case? I'm going to explain why. Okay, so there's a couple things to kind of understand from this account. First of all, we are dealing with this client, one niche and one product. And this is kind of like it is an evergreen product, meaning that, you know, it receives sales throughout the year, whatever, but of course it has peak seasons. But the most important thing to understand here is that this is really simple, right? But it's also extremely simple to like an extreme extent, because we're dealing with one niche, right? But most specifically like one product, right? Or one type of product, because they sell many different types of products, but this is just like one type of product, so we can cater the entire ad account structure on one product. Now, let me tell you what I would do if, for example, we're serving a skincare company or a beauty company or a company, whatever, any type of company that has maybe different sub niches like skincare or hair care. Instead of having just one ACS, duplicate it and have one for each niche or one for each offer, right? So if you want to split test offers, like at the end of the day, we crack the code for this company and we know exactly what type of offers work. So this makes the account even way more, you know, easy to structure. But this is what your ad account should look like. Whether you're doing 5K, whether you're doing 50K, 50 million a month, whatever, it doesn't matter. It should be extremely simple. Now, of course, once again, like we've tested a bunch of different ad campaigns, right? This is just part of the process, but eventually this is what the account should look like, okay? So let me just break it down. This is actually not going to be a super long video because it's a very simple and basic, you know, high-level strategy and understanding and structure of how we structure the ad account here. So we essentially have a couple different basic campaigns which you probably already know of. I speak about these every single time. So let me just filter by. Never mind. So we have a campaign. So just for the last, let me do this last 30 days. Over 50% of the account is spending on an ASC, Advantage Shopping campaign. Okay, this is basically one of the campaigns that we use and leverage for scaling. And if you don't have too much data in your ad account, meaning that you're maybe starting from scratch, you can still test it. But this particular type of campaign really works well when you're trying to scale. How does it work? It's very simple. You basically have no control over who you are showing your ads to. Okay, you have no control over that. You literally have control over the countries, the age, the budget, and the creatives. Maybe I'm missing something, but these are like the fundamental ones. And so these are basically creative campaigns. Oh, and just by the way, before I get into the nitty and gritty here, like we spent 100,000. The account actually says that we made like whatever, 220,000, so like a 2.05x return. It's actually higher because there's attribution problems. But even if it were to, it's actually quite profitable for this company. Okay. And this company is sitting at right around, I know that a lot of you are going to ask me, right around like 20% profit margins, which is actually great for e-commerce standards, okay? So this is the campaign that we use for ACS for scaling. How does it work? We put all of the winning creatives, offers, everything that works into this scaling campaign. Literally all we have to do is put all the winning offers here. I can't obviously, guys, sorry, but I can't show you the ads. I can't show you the types of ads that we're running. It's just completely, it's just based on NDAs and contracts that we sign. So bear with me, but just focus on getting your winning ads and putting them into the ACS or ASC campaign. This is what we do, literally simple. And how do we find these winning campaigns? Where we have an ABO, creative testing campaign. Now, a lot of you are going to say, but I heard that CBO works. I heard that this works. I heard that this other strategy works. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm just showing you what's working for us at the end of the day. And have we tested CBO? Yes, we have tested CBO. But overall, as we were scaling this account, we just noticed that this ABO creative testing strategy is working really well for us. And so we just stuck to it. Do we have other clients that we're testing with CBOs? Yes, like we do have them. But this is a client where we're just focusing on the ABO for creative testing. Okay, let me actually show you inside here. So as you can tell, like these are like all broad, they're all broad targeting, guys. Like literally everything is completely broad. And so many of these are not even on. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 campaigns that are on, and we're spending up to $600 a day in one single ad set. What is the difference between this campaign, or this campaign, and this campaign? So sometimes what actually is different is the actual targeting, maybe the countries we want to run a split test. But in this case, it's not, because we're targeting US, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, basically the top countries, but also like other countries as well. I'm not sure why it's not written here, but from my understanding and what I know from this client, we're also targeting some other countries as well. Either way, these are the top countries that we're getting the most sales from. And what is the difference between, this one and this one? The main difference is literally the creative, or the offer, or the ad copy, right? Or the landing page structure, or if we're split testing anything. And so in our scenario, we already know what works, because this client has a track record. We've already tested quite a lot of ad spend and understanding what works and what doesn't. So we kind of stick to it. But then of course we always probably spend around 10 to 15% of the budget towards something just completely new, or something that we're maybe seeing that other competitors are doing, and we try to test it. But look, these are literally the same exact campaigns. What you have to understand is that the way that we do it is that we do broad targeting, which I recommend if you're starting out. But if broad targeting doesn't work and you're like starting out, I recommend doing like broad interests. So what do I mean by broad interests? I basically mean campaigns that have like, interests that have like millions and millions of within the demographic of population wise. And so as you start populating your ad account, it's going to get a lot more smart with AI, whatever, the Meta, TikTok, whatever platform you're using. It's the more you spend, the more the pixel is going to get information, and the more you can do broad targeting a lot more easily. Okay. And so instead of focusing your time too much on doing, going after pet lovers or testing the pets or animals, like interests or whatever, camping, that is not really too important. Okay, it's really not too important. You have to focus on your marketing and on your creative. And I know everybody's gonna roll their eyes again, but this is the truth of how we're approaching marketing in 2024. Just look at all of these campaigns are just like literally all the same. Like, by the way, our ad account wasn't like this like 2 or 3 years ago, right? Maybe not even like a year ago. It wasn't like this. We had to change and shift, because this is where we're going with AI and with just like advertising and media buying moving forward. It's just how it's working. Once again, what's different here is that we're testing different offers, different approaches, different UGC creators, right? Different types of ads. And so what happens here is that this is a creative testing campaign. And then once we find the ads that actually work, we scale them in the creative testing campaign as well. As you can see, we're basically spending $600 on just one campaign, and it's a testing creative campaign in the ABO. And so if it works here, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to scale it here as well. So by increasing the budget, you can also just duplicate the exact same campaign, the same exact ads, and you can like try to double the budget and see if that works. Sometimes we do that as well. If not, you can basically increase the budgets by 10 to 20% every couple of days, depending on how much you're spending and depending on if it's still profitable or not, and all those things. Okay, so this is essentially our testing campaign, and then we spend around 30%. In this case 35, a little bit more, because we also have other channels that we're retargeting, just like Google or organic or other channels as well. And we're literally doing a very simple retargeting here. Once again, very, very simple retargeting stack. That is, let me actually just see what type of retargeting we're doing here. Yeah, so we are doing, bear with me 1 second. So we're spending $3,600 in a single day just for retargeting. And we have people that added to cart, people that initiated checkout, people that view the content, website visitors 90 days, engaged with Instagram within the last 365 days, engaged with the Facebook page in the last year, video views 75%, and then we exclude current purchasers in the last 180 days. This is actually very important. We don't want to spend money on ads on people that already bought our product. We have email marketing for that. We have SMS marketing for that. Okay, so once again, this is really fundamental. Make sure that you have your retargeting stacks. Now, one thing that you can do if you want to split test, we already know that these work, right? So there really isn't a point for us to do that, but you can split test retargeting stack and basically and test, if add to cart works better than initiate checkout, or if Facebook work better than Instagram viewers or engagers, right? So you can split test your own way. But once again, we like to keep it very, very simple, and we have a bunch of retargeting ads over here as well. Great. So this is basically the setup. It's very simple. We have three main campaigns. Once again, ABO for testing, creative testing, retargeting, and then an ACS. And you can split test. You can do retargeting. You can use ABOs or CBOs. I think we're using a CBO right now. And then we have the ACS for scaling. This is literally how we do it. Now, how do we find winning ads? I'm going to go through the exact same process that we use to find winning ads, and we use Audio. We use tools like this. And I know that, once again, if you are probably following me for a while, you're probably rolling your eyes with me again, because I always talk about this tool. We're actually partners with them, but we decided to partner with them because we literally use this tool for all of our clients. And it makes finding winning ads very, very easy and accessible. And so what you have to do is, like, the question that I receive a lot is like, cool, so like, now that I know the ad account structure, very simple, how do you find winning ads? Well, I'm gonna literally give you the answer based on what is working for us. And what is working for us is literally going on tools like Ocha. There's also other tools, but this is one of my favorites. Looking for your competitor, let's just say we're selling socks, right? And then going in and studying your entire competition. Snox, I think, is a good brand. I think I have it open over here. They're running 2,000 ads across social platforms. And the good thing about this tool is that if you follow the brand, it will also give you more information on how they're distributing their traffic, how many images they're running percentage-wise, how many videos they're running, is the traffic being redirected to. Like, and you can also filter by longest running ads. Why do you want to filter by that? Well, because if you filter by longest running ads, you're basically going after the ads that are working, are the most profitable, which is of course the ones that you want to model. Now, don't get me wrong, when you're dealing and we're looking at like companies that are doing like $50 million, what I tended to notice is that the proportion of images is slightly higher, but typically we run like 60-40 or like 70-30%, 70% videos, 30% images. And it's probably because they have a bunch of retargeting. And when we're doing retargeting, images actually work quite well. They're great, they just work. And so they probably have 50% because they're doing a lot of retargeting. They have a bunch of organic traffic, Google traffic, TikTok, and maybe other platforms. So either way, go on Archer, use it. I also have a link down below if you want to explore this tool. But this is what we do. And then what we can do here is basically study the ad copy of this of these winning ads. We can also click on the ad if it opens, and then we can study the script, study the framework. It can also generate similar scripts, and it will also generate similar scripts from the storyboard and the script that the creator is using in this video. So it will transcribe the entire video. So this is just a great tool that I really recommend. And this is basically how we find our winning creatives, and pretty much how we found new winning concepts for the other client that I just showed you over here. In this next video, still within the advertising module, I'm going to bring you through a recent strategy in terms of ad account structure that we've tested that has really worked well for us. It's very simple, that's the good news, and it focuses on creative. And I'll speak about this more, of course, in the video. But enjoy and let me know if you have any questions. This is going to be an interesting one. Great, so this strategy, let's call it the new 2024 creative testing strategy. Now, before I explain everything, we need to understand one main thing. So let me just push this down before you get too excited here. So we have to understand one thing, that the advertising world, especially the social media advertising world, has been really evolving in the last, I would say, 6 to 12 months, like drastically. And so we're shifting into an era where ad account tweaks, or spending 80% of your time on your ad account tweaking strategies, doing bid caps, doesn't really work anymore. This is why both on Google, on TikTok, on Facebook, they started introducing these AI-driven kind of models or campaign types, right? Like the CBO, or not, sorry, the CBO, the Advantage Shopping Plus campaign, right? All these types of campaigns are like way more AI-driven, where you just tell Facebook what to spend, who to target, maybe what age, and then focus on the creative. The demographical side is mostly done by Facebook. So what we've been doing, and what we've been shifting to in the last short period, is that we've started completely going broad with our ad sets and our campaigns and our targeting. That's what I meant. And so we're mainly focusing, instead of focusing and putting our time focusing on, okay, let's try to test interest number 1 and compared to interest number 5, we start shifting our focus more on the creative side, which is, I mean, we've been doing that for, at this point, like 2 or 3 years already, focusing on creative. But instead of focusing on the demographic, we're focusing on the creative testing angles and offer propositions that we're essentially proposing to the market. And based on that, right, which I'll explain how we divide it into, we structure the ads in a certain way. Okay, so this is really important to consider. So I wanted to just frame this video, and just so you know, this is where advertising is going towards. So if you're spending most of your time and you're spending it on your ad account, and you think, okay, the CBO, ABO, whatever, all that stuff, sure, I understand, but this is what I think is going to work. And if you're not using this particular structure, maybe use something similar, right? The idea and the principle is that you have CBO campaigns running, and each ad set is a creative testing angle. Let me explain how we're doing it here. So let's just say we have clients, a client that has like 5 different products. What we would do is that we would set up 5 different CBO campaigns. So we have 5 products. Each product has their own CBO campaign. And so within that product, and by the way, we want to set a $150 to $200 budget. And so the only kind of downside with the strategy is that if you have like zero marketing dollars to start off, I mean, it can be a little bit of a challenge. But hey, like, I encourage you to start maybe at it lower to see how it works. I know for a fact that Facebook likes, especially with CBO campaigns, they like at least $100 budget. And at the end of the day, this strategy works because we're trying to find what can scale. We don't want to find ad sets that spend very few dollars, or campaigns that just spend $50 with a 3x ROAS. We want to find campaigns that spend $5,000 with a 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever ROAS. We don't really care about low scale. We care about high scale, right? And so this strategy works very well because each product that we're testing or that we're trying to scale has their own dedicated CBO campaign. And within this CBO campaign, we basically just focus on adding and stacking different ad sets, right? And each ad set corresponds to a different test. And each test corresponds to a different marketing angle or proposition that we're essentially promoting to the market, right? So if we're testing, I don't know, if we're promoting this Apple Watch, one marketing angle could be, okay, use this Apple Watch to measure your heartbeats, right? Because of health. The other could be because it saves you time, right? So these are two complete. Another one could be because it increases your status, right? So all of these 3 different these 3 different examples that I just shared with you are 3 completely different angles that we're using to promote one product, this Apple Watch, right? And so that's what I mean. So essentially, you should not spend your time increasing budgets on the ad set level, maybe on ABOs. Although I have to be honest, we still have some clients where the ABO is just like working, and it wouldn't be really smart for us to just shut it off. So we are testing the strategy for the accounts that are maybe newer, that we recently onboarded, and so we're gradually shifting. But I believe this is the absolute best way to pretty much go about scaling ad accounts, because the setup is extremely easy. One campaign, one product, and then all you have to do is continue stacking new ad sets and by evolving marketing angles, right? And so what eventually you're going to end up with is one campaign, one CBO campaign with like 50 different ad sets or maybe more. And Facebook, we just let Facebook choose where it wants to spend, right? Even if Facebook, you see that the ROAS on one ad set is maybe not the best, or it's spending, let it do its thing. Trust the process. I can assure you Facebook wants to give you an ROI, because if they don't, then they don't incentivize you to go back and spend more on their ad platform, right? And so this is one particular thing. What we like to do is that we test this. We use this particular structure in terms of naming, and the naming is very fundamental for when you want to go back and look for new things, or go back into the ad account and look for on what worked. And so we have test number 1001. We include the product name / concept name, creative concept name, and then creative style, whether it's an image or a video or a GIF or whatever you're using. And so this is what you're using. By the way, stick until not the end of the video, but the next 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to show you what Excel sheet, what Google Sheet we're using to track every single aspect of the structure, so that we can fully understand what creatives are working, what can be scaled, what creative concepts work at scale, what don't work at scale, Do images work? Do videos work? And so I'm talking about this, and I want to show you this Google Sheet in just a second, because a lot of people, as I spoke about in my previous video, they just try to test a bunch of strategy with no criteria. And so there's nothing worse than testing things and hoping that something sticks, and then maybe doing a little bit of that, and maybe doing something of that. Like, everything needs to be strategically tested with a purpose and reason, right? That's the whole point of advertising, being strategic and analyzing your numbers. So let's move on here. Each ad set is a marketing angle and a different test, and within that, I know that D2C, for those of you who don't know, dynamic testing campaign. So dynamic testing or dynamic creative is where you give Facebook different headlines, different hooks or whatever, different images, different videos, and it will automatically choose, and put things together depending on how Facebook thinks it will perform. Like the actual combination of the variations will perform. And so this is a great feature. The thing is that this feature is actually about to expire. It seems like it's about to get out of Facebook for, I'm not sure for what reason, because it's kind of working well for us, but for some reason, for one reason or another, it's going to eventually leave the ad account. So we have it active for, I believe, almost all of our clients. If you don't have the D2C option or the dynamic ads option, it wouldn't surprise me, because I read a bunch of updates and it's eventually going to happen. If it doesn't, it means they changed their mind. Either way, if you have this option, use it. So what you have to do is that you want to come up with 3 to 4 ad variations. So for each ad set, you want to create 3 to 4 ads. And so you have to create multiple variations. So we want probably 1 image ad, right? And then the rest videos, or maybe 2 image ads and 2 videos. Depending also on the product. For one of our clients that is selling furniture, what really works well is very, very high quality image ads. And so in their scenario, we're doing 1 video and then 3 images. We're prioritizing images because we know they work. And so this is pretty much how it works. And if you don't have the DTC option, then do the normal ads. But I would consider, all these ads, by the way, should of course be coherent to the marketing angle, meaning that if you're speaking about health here, all of these ads need to be related, all of the hooks, all of the ads, everything, the storyboard, the frame, the UGC video person talking on video, whatever, they all have to make sense with the creative angle that you're testing over here. Okay, so once again, I think this is strategy worth testing. Very important thing to talk about over here. Scale every 3 days by 5 to 10%. So you need to have this running for 3 days. If you don't see a result for I would say 3 to 4 days, then you keep it at the same budget and just keep cycling ad sets until you find something that actually works and can be scaled. If something works and can be scaled by 5 to 10 to 15% at the most every 3 to 4 days. And that's pretty much how we're able to scale and stack up, scale and stack up. Have we tried to increase the budget? Can you try to increase the budget by more than 5 to 10 to 15%? Yes, but I would be careful with that, because what happens is that if you do it too aggressively, then you kind of Facebook loses its momentum, because what Facebook will do, what Meta will do, is that it will scale with a particular budget. If you give it a completely different budget, it has to reorganize the way it's distributing its budget, and therefore it has to maybe re-optimize, and the performance could potentially decrease, okay? And so keep adding creative tests. So what I'm saying here is essentially don't stop with 2 or 3 tests here. Every couple of days or whenever you can, keep stacking marketing angles so that you feed the creative engine, and Facebook can choose and has more options to choose from. And then the main priority is adding more ad sets so that Facebook can keep scaling. That's essentially what I just said. Now let's move on. Let's go back here. Let's talk about this command center over here. So what we have here, this is essentially a tracking sheet that is dedicated for all of our clients. Each client has their own sheet, and within the command center, we have a creative testing tracker. And the way that we structured this, which I'll explain in just a second, really works well with how I just explained the diagram over here, right? It's very, very congruent, just also with the naming, which is why we're keeping the same name, as you can notice. So if we go back here, what this chart is about, it's about literally tracking all of your results across all of your tests, right? To learn exactly what is working, what is not working, what variations can we repurpose and scale, right? So that we can essentially add more ad sets and give Facebook a better chance to scale, and so that we can increase the budgets and have $5,000 CBO campaigns running, right? So we have a test ID, we have an ad set name, As you can see over here, it's basically the same exact structure: test, product, angle, image or video, GIF, whatever variation. And so here we have whatever, some metrics to populate, but the most important ones to put is that for each and every test, right, let's take this for example, we have the creative testing angle, the Asana task. We use Asana, so we put all of the tasks in Asana, and then we link the Asana task over here, so that if you want to go back and maybe understand, oh, who did this, who did that, the copywriter did this, the copywriter said this, the video ads, the media buyer said this, or whatever. We have basically the entire thread of the conversation when it comes to this discussing this particular ad set, right, or a creative test, right? We have that, and then we have the marketing angle, we have the emotion of the creative, happy, sad, depression, whatever. Then we have the avatar customer that we're going after. Then we have the hook, and then we have the messaging, and then we have the ad copy link, right? So we can track that. And then we have the format, and then we have the creative link, whether it was an image or video. And so literally we can track every single aspect. What we can do later is that we can create charts like these, populate charts that tell us, okay, we have a win rate of 11%, meaning that every 10 ads, one is a winner and it can be scaled. Or this avatar customer is the one that is bringing the most sales. Or this type of hook is the one that is working the best, or giving us the best hook rate. Or this type of messaging, this type of marketing angle, same thing. So keep it very organized, because every single data point that you put on the sheet, you can then reuse to create graphical representations like this one, which will give you an estimate or a very good understanding of how your ad account is performing, what is working, what is not working in like 30 seconds, because you have a graphical representation of what's going on with your business. You know what angles work, your win rate, what ad formats are working, how many tests per month you're doing, right? In this case, we did almost 20, 17, whatever. Yeah, 17 tests, whatever. And so you can be very analytical here. And so the other things that we say here and that we advise you to add is the status, whether it's live or not, or if it's been tested. And typically when it's been tested, it's because it's either break even and it's not worth scaling, or it's a loser because it's not, it's just a loser. It's not profitable. As you can see, the ROAS is too low. And then of course you have the winners, and the to be determined is when they didn't spend enough, and then the winners and the losers and whatever. And then we have metrics like ROAS, and all these things are color coded, as you can see. So the more the ROAS is closer to 0, and the more it's red, and the more the ROAS is closer to infinite, whatever, and the more it's a green color. And so you can once again visually, immediately at first impact, understand how things are going over here from this perspective. Same thing with CTR, CPC, cost per click, right? Conversion rate, AOV, and stuff like that. All of these things, including hook rate and hold rate. Now, the most important thing here is that we have learnings, right? Why do we do this in the first place? We do this in the first place because we want to know how each test is performing, and if they're performing well and it's a winner, we want to write notes so that we can come up with other winning variations. In this case, we have the winning variation link. This is where you would put your ad, your Facebook ad link, the display and preview link, so that you know exactly what creative was working, what was driving the best results. And then you have your notes and your learnings. It worked well because the conversion rate was very good, the landing page was great, also the image, the hook rate was amazing, the CTR and the cost per clicks were very low, right? Cost per clicks were very low, cost per CTRs were very high. And then we have next steps, so that we have, always next steps in terms of, okay, this works, let's replicate this concept 4, 5, 10 other times, by tweaking this and that. And so in this way, you can literally have learnings and trackings of every single test that you do. And it's all documented over here. This is very powerful. Once again, most ad agencies or most e-commerce brands just look at their competitors. They look at the competitors of the brand or of their client, and they try to see what's working, hoping that something sticks on the wall. And then they don't have a process where they document things and have learnings, meaning they don't have a sheet like this, well organized like this, that tells them this is working, this is not working, this is how many tests you did. So this next module is going to be slightly more different, because it's going to be kind of a Q&A. I've gathered the 7 most frequently asked questions about Facebook and TikTok, and I'm gonna bring you through the answers and my thought process behind thinking of doing advertising on Facebook versus doing advertising on TikTok, pros, cons, and what to expect. I hope you enjoy. Here, what I prepared is a very simple type of form, whatever, where I just literally put down 7 to 8 very common questions that I receive literally every day, if not every other day. So let's actually start with number 1. Okay, should I scale with TikTok or Facebook ads or meta ads, whatever you want to call it? Now this is a huge one because a lot of people, and this I received this question for from businesses that are either starting out, doing 6 figures, 7 figures, sometimes even 8 figures. They don't know which platform they should focus on when it comes to scaling. So it's a very common question that I receive across the board. Now, scaling TikTok or Facebook. Now it depends how you like the infrastructure that you have set up for your business, because I'm not going to answer what I'm afraid of in this video is that I basically answer all the questions from one question because I start ranting. But to keep it short, it depends what product you want to sell, okay, or you are selling. So typically TikTok really works well for products that are between $20, $30, $40, maybe $50 at the most, absolute most. And so if you have a sales cycle where you're pushing products that are like over $50, $70, $100, $200 higher ticket, then it can get quite difficult to convert people on TikTok. Why is that? I'm not entirely sure. I think it's because of the way that TikTok built its algorithm and the way that people consume the platform. I know that TikTok is way more faster and like fast paced compared to like Facebook, Meta, Instagram, right? And so the types of products that tend to work for TikTok are the ones that are like impulse purchases. So if you want to have higher average order value, right, and you're not happy with like just selling a $20 to $30 product or whatever, you could, and you want to scale TikTok, you probably want to implement several upsells, downsells as the customer buys more and more and more, right? Instead of just offering the entire suite or high AOV product or set, whatever you're selling up front, right? With Facebook, you can actually do that way more easily. We have some clients that are promoting $200, $300 products. We have a client that has a $400 or $500 product, $400, $500 AOV product. That is what I meant. And we're still scaling on Meta. We're actually spending $100,000, $200,000 in a single month, okay, just on Meta, and they have high AOV. So you kind of need to test at the end of the day. But from my experience, low AOV products or low AOV in terms of like the offer that you're pushing is for TikTok way easier. And then you can also test it on Meta, but typically on Meta the CPMs are more expensive, and so if you're selling like a $30 product and the AOV is $30, chances are you're not going to be profitable for what you're selling. So moving on, what are the advantages of TikTok ads over Meta ads? Okay, the main advantages of TikTok ads over Meta ads is that TikTok ads are way cheaper. Like the CPMs on TikTok ads, the cost per clicks on TikTok ads can be like significantly, like 50 to 100%, sometimes even more cheaper. And so this is a great platform to maybe even just test concepts, right? Just get some traffic and get some data, right? Of course, the traffic is, difference between TikTok and Meta, but they're both very high quality channels. And so you're going to receive very high quality, if you're going for purchases and if you're looking for conversions, you're going to receive high quality individuals that actually want to purchase the product. So the data is very clean. If we also compare to Meta, as I said before, it really depends on the product that you're selling. But typically the advantage is that it's quite cheaper to promote products on TikTok because of the lower CPMs. Lower CPMs are basically the cost per 1,000 impression. It's way cheaper actually. And so it's quite typical to get like $5, $10 CPMs on TikTok compared to like maybe 20, 25, 30, sometimes even like $40 CPMs on Meta. Okay, so that's that. Let me know if you have any questions about the first two, if I need to go more in depth. But what is the number 3? What is the cheapest and most profitable platform? Is it Meta or TikTok? Now, the cheapest, as I told you before, is going to be TikTok, just because of the CPMs. The most profitable is going to once again depend on the product. We've launched products at like $40, $35 on TikTok that actually killed it. And then we launched the same exact types of ads on Meta, and it was like barely breaking even. And so typically it really also depends on the nature of the product. What I tend to notice is that the very viral products, the trendy products, really work well, and the cheaper products below $50 really work well on TikTok. right? So if it's very trendy, it's catchy, people don't really see the product around or in stores, then chances are and it's below $50, chances are TikTok is going to be the cheapest and most profitable platform. Okay, so these are pretty much the things and the observations that I've made. And by the way, like everything that comes out of my mouth is based on a case study. We spent over $35 million on ads across Google, Facebook, TikTok, right? And across 60 to 70 clients. So it's based on my track record and my experience. Others may say different things. I'm just telling you what, I'm documenting my journey with you. Now, next question, what is the cheapest? We already went through this. Oh, this is actually a duplicate. Amazing. Whatever. Next question is scaling easier on TikTok or Meta ads? Now, this is a huge one, and I've been in a situation where we were scaling both Meta and TikTok at the same time, and I can assure you scaling social media ads is very hard. Like, no matter what you do, or where you're scaling, it's extremely hard, because you can't just increase the budgets. I always talk about it in my other videos. You can't just go from like $10,000 to $50,000 a month by just ramping up the budgets. You also have to have a creative input that can sustain the $50,000 a month in spend, right? So you can't just increase the spend, you have to make sure that you increase the input of your creatives. That's what I mean by creative input, having more images, carousel ads, videos, UGC, mashups, and B-rolls, footage, right? All these things you absolutely need to make ads profitable if you want to scale, right? If you want to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, you can probably be okay with like 5-10 creatives here and there every month, maybe. And so, especially on Meta. For TikTok is really, if we have to compare the two, TikTok is probably the absolute hardest platform to scale. For one simple reason, the burn rate of each creative is way faster. So I'll give you an example. We have some ads that are pretty much evergreen that we've launched they've been live for like 8 to 12 months for clients. And every single time we launch them or they stay active, they're like profitable. They don't get too much saturated. Now, although it's not really typical, and I'm talking about Meta, right? Although this is not like super typical, it does tend to happen way more. Chances are like way more in Meta, and so it is typical, although many across all of our clients that an ad stays live for like 3 months, right? And it's still profitable, it's still kicking under ROAS, it's still doing great numbers, and it doesn't make sense to turn off. I've noticed that it's not the same thing with TikTok. TikTok, chances are after 1, 2, maximum maybe 3 weeks, the creative just burns out and it doesn't work anymore. Who knows why? And so the hypothesis is that the consumption of the platform is very fast, and you have to keep the speed at which you create your creatives needs to be on par almost to the speed at which people consume creatives. That's kind of like how I like to think about it. And so the speed at which people consume creatives on TikTok is quite faster and like quite more aggressive compared to other platforms, which is probably why like TikTok wants the advertiser to feed them with weekly creatives, if not daily creatives. So we had a client. I'll give you a perfect example. We had a client that scaled to like $200,000 a month from zero on TikTok, and so what ended up happening is that the next month it was fine because they were keeping up with creative, but as soon as they kind of like stopped, they had to really descale aggressively, and they ended up going from like I don't remember what it was, like $3,000 to $5,000 in spend per day on TikTok to essentially like $1,000 to $500, just because they didn't have the capacity to give the platform all of these creatives. And so they hired us, and we eventually tried to fix it, but even then it was actually quite hard. And so we gradually shifted the budget towards Meta, and things got a little more stable. Now, next question, is Meta or TikTok more consistent with results? I think, yeah, I guess I didn't touch base on it, but long story short, Meta is way more consistent in my opinion. That's probably why most brands actually spend on. Let me see if I have a quick graph here to show you. Yeah, I think it's over here. This one over here. If you just look at the statistics and what other brands are, where other brands are actually scaling, 65% of e-commerce ad spend is going towards Facebook and Instagram. Only around 5% is going towards TikTok. So there's a reason for this. I mean, chances are it's because Meta actually gives you more profitable results and more consistent results, right? So we can start here and start to debate about TikTok or Meta ads all we want, but at the end of the day, we have to just look at the data, right? And so Meta and TikTok, which one is more consistent? Meta is way more consistent. TikTok, you just, as I told you before, for the creative problems that you're dealing with when you want to scale, it's just a lot harder to keep up with. Is it possible? 1000%. We have some clients, and we've seen some clients across multiple industries that are absolutely killing you with TikTok, right? But it's the 5% that actually can make it work. So, only 1 out of 20 brands can do that. Now, is TikTok only for younger demographics? I get this question a lot, and my answer to this question would have been yes, maybe a couple of years ago. But if we just look at the charts and the data, we can clearly see that there are 30, 40, 50, 60 plus, 65 plus year olds that are hanging out in TikTok. And so it's getting really populated. And so we have a supplement company, or we've had a couple supplement companies where we were just pushing ads on TikTok, but they were for 40, 50 plus year olds, also skincare companies. And for some it worked okay, for others it didn't, and for some it actually worked quite well. And so it obviously depends on the nature of the product. There's multiple reasons why something works or doesn't work, but overall it worked well also for older demographics. That's what I've seen. Okay, last question here: how can I make TikTok ads work for my brand? Now, first of all, TikTok ads may not work for your brand initially, at the initial stages, because maybe for the reasons that I told you before, it's just like your product is maybe too expensive. It doesn't have that catchy TikTok stylish whatever vibe that maybe people are looking for. And by the way, you don't need that, right? But it does help. That's what I've noticed. So if your ads are not ready to scale on TikTok for whatever reason, it doesn't mean that you cannot spend on TikTok. So let me just give you an example of a case study. We actually scaled this company to, I think it was in gross sales like $700,000 a month, or something along those lines. I have case studies in my other YouTube videos if you want to check those out. But eventually, what we started to do is that we spent $150,000 on Meta. We spent, I think it was maybe 20-30 grand on Google or something like that, maybe more. And then we started spending $10,000 to $15,000 on TikTok, and they were selling higher AOV products, so like $500, $600. Even if it was $200 and they did have $200 products, it's still way higher, compared to actually making it work on TikTok. It's really, I've never seen a brand actually make a $200 AOV product work on TikTok. I haven't until today. So the way that we made it work is just by doing a lot of retargeting. And so we ended up having like a 5 to 10x ROAS on TikTok, just because we had a bunch of traffic coming along from Meta, Google, Pinterest, organic, of course, email, whatever, all these traffic sources. And so the pixel got populated. The brand already had a TikTok pixel installed initially, so it was gathering all the purchase data. And so retargeting and doing setting up retargeting ads and spending 5 to 10% of the total ad budget towards TikTok actually was extremely profitable. So if TikTok ads are maybe not working for you on the prospecting phases, look into retargeting ASAP. And by the way, do it also for other platforms like Snapchat, like Pinterest, whatever it is. Start testing retargeting, because retargeting is literally the lowest hanging fruit, and you can be surprised if you're maybe doing, I don't know, like 250, 100,000, 250,000. You'll be surprised you can probably add an extra maybe 10 to maybe even sometimes 20% of revenue just by adding that omnipresence that your brand maybe didn't have before, that your competitors probably do have, the more advanced competitors, right? So overall, I don't want to rant too much about all these things, but this is what I've noticed with between TikTok and Facebook. And I just put these questions over here because these are the most common questions that I get on almost basically a weekly basis. And so I just thought of doing a video comparing kind of TikTok compared to Meta, why, who, pros, cons, etc. Basically everything that we went through this video. Welcome to module number 6, which is all about email marketing, a really fundamental and crucial aspect of e-commerce, okay? And so in this video, I'm actually gonna start it off by sharing a case study of how we scaled an e-commerce brand to over $150,000 per month just in email marketing revenue alone. And this video is gonna be crucial. Make sure to follow it step by step, because I'm gonna bring you through all the pre-purchase flows, post-purchase flows, ideas for campaigns, and pretty much how we structured the account for our clients. I hope you enjoy, and let me know if you have any questions, as usual. As usual, here's the proof. As you can see, they're doing $487,000 in a single month in the last 30 days. and $150,000, almost $151,000, is purely coming from Klaviyo, which is email marketing. And actually, they're not even doing SMS marketing. I'm going to tell them exactly after this video. But they're just doing email marketing, and that's what's coming from Klaviyo alone. And that's 30.94%, almost 31% of the revenue, which is insane, is coming from email marketing. So this is the proof. But just so you know, if you're doing 20%, you're doing good. 25, you're doing great. 30%, you're doing amazing, right? So I'm showing you probably the best of the scenarios. They just have a great and perfect infrastructure, and it's working amazingly for them. Note that if you're doing over 30%, like I would say if you're doing like 40, 45%, 50%, 60% of your revenue is just purely coming from email marketing, it probably means that you're not spending enough on the front end and getting sales outside of this email marketing infrastructure or ecosystem, right? So if you're doing way above that, way above this, then it means that your front end is probably lacking in opportunities, right? You should do more there. But this is a perfect example because this company is spending $150,000 a month approximately just on ads. Okay, so they're spending a lot and they're doing a lot of email marketing revenue. 31%. So this is a proof. Let me refresh, whatever, so you know this is real. And voila, there we go. Now that number increased for some reason because maybe we're getting sales. Probably. Cool, amazing. So let's get into this diagram. This is an amazing asset, which, by the way, I only give this asset. They're probably gonna get mad, to be honest, to my private community. It's only $49 a month. I share you get access to my time. I answer questions. You get access to all of the resources that my agency uses, including this. And what I'll do is that I'm gonna go through this, right? But if we get to, I think the most likes I ever got in a video is like 1,000. If we get to 1,500 likes on this video, I'm just gonna share this with you. Okay, I'm gonna share this completely free and give it out to everyone. And but yeah, so let's go over this diagram very quickly. Okay, I don't want to go too much in depth because then it's gonna take me 2 hours to do this video. But I'm gonna go pretty in depth and show you kind of like what you need. Okay, so let's start by talking about the entire sales journey. Okay, this is the customer funnel. People visit your website, they view your product, they add to cart, they proceed to checkout, they make a purchase. Okay, and these sections over here that are outside of the sales process is where your email marketing can come into action and come into play. Okay, and this is where you have your site abandonment, your browse abandonment, your abandoned cart, like the pre-purchase, right? While people are purchasing, and then you have your post-purchase sequences, right after, like the customer thank you is a post-purchase, and then their nurturing, which is everything that comes after they purchase the product, right? So this is something that you should understand. If you don't understand this, it doesn't make sense to go over anything else that I'm going to go over in the future in this video. But make sure that you understand this scenario. It's very simple. There's a sales journey, and you use email marketing to get subscribers on a pre-purchase and a post-purchase to make sure they come back and buy more, right? So this is how it works. Just to show you a 30,000 foot view from the top, there's pre-purchase flows, right? First of all, there's two things, flows and campaigns. We're gonna go over both, right? Best practices. There's pre-purchase flows and post-purchase flows, and then there's campaigns. We're gonna go over a couple scenarios. And this, by the way, this is pretty much, I would say, to a T, exactly what this other business is doing, okay? So they have a bunch of flows, they have a bunch of campaigns, and this is just a visual representation of how I would start. We also, by the way, have an email marketing division that just does this, and they literally utilize this exact same diagram. In fact, this diagram comes from my email marketer, the person that is running everything. And let's go over pre-purchase flows, okay? So, first of all, this is really, really important. A lot of people forget that a lot of people think that pre-purchase is just like abandoned cart. It's actually not. There's so many different pre-purchase flows that you can implement, and a lot of people either do abandoned cart or abandoned checkout. They think that that's enough and that's all you can do with email marketing. That's actually not true at all. So let's start with the first one. There's a welcome series. Signs up to pop up, right? This is, by the way, this is like the most important flow. I believe this client alone is generating like a hefty amount, if that's even a word, a big serious amount of their email marketing revenue is coming from this flow, the welcome series, which is typically traditionally you can say that it's one of the longest. This, by the way, depending on the niche, this can go up to like a full year, so like 30 emails, 50 emails, 60 emails. For most scenarios, 7 to 10 emails is a good amount, okay? And typically like the brands that have a very long flow are like the supplement brands, like very heavy informational brands where you need to share value, talk about science, talk about ingredients. Like that's where you need to really nurture people, and why the sequences are so long. In this scenario, if you have a normal product, right, doesn't need too much explanation, 7 to 10 emails in the welcome series is more than enough. And we're probably gonna add this, but we don't have like time frames, but this is between 2 and 5 days, business days, I would say, between one email and another is a good time frame. And so these are people that sign up. What do we want to do to sign up? Give people a free product. Say, hey, if you sign up, you can get access to you can immediately enter our monthly giveaway where we give out one product a day. I don't know, 30 products a month. Enter and you can join. That does amazingly if you have multiple products in your store. If you just have one product and you don't want to offer it for free, if you're doing like a one product type of store and you don't have a lot of products, then you can do maybe like a 10% discount like most people do. That works perfectly. Or you can sell an ebook. You can do like an ebook that provides value, 7 steps to XYZ, and that's also has amazing open rates, and it's quick to deliver, and it's free. It's completely free for you. You don't have to give out 10% of your revenue, right, for discounts, which I absolutely hate, to be honest. So this is the first flow. Second flow here, really important, site abandonment. People that go and sign up here and in the pop-up, and they browse and they go through the site, right? Not browse, sorry. No, this is browse abandonment. So like site abandonment. They just go into your site, they give you their email, and they just go away. You can literally design and launch a specific automation that is just for visitors. And a lot of people don't know that. You can literally do this. So visits sites but doesn't view product. So this is how the automation looks like. The first email can be like, we saw you checking us out, and then there's a CTA. The goal is to bring them one step down the funnel, right? From site to viewing product to then eventually further down the funnel. Email 2 is benefits maybe of the product. Somebody's calling me. Matteo, what's up? Then USP. Bear with me. Benefits, then recommended bestsellers. Okay, so this is just a way, it's not hard promotion. There's no need to do like a very hefty and hard promotion. They're just getting an understanding of if they even want to purchase from you. So this is the site abandonment. Now notice as these are kind of color coded. So blue is like light, then green is kind of like more heavy promotion. Then orange is heavier, and then red is where we really want to go after the urgency and the scarcity. And this will all make sense in just a second. Browse abandonment, views product but doesn't add to cart. And this is where we go after reminder about viewed product. Then email 2 is mention USP of the product they viewed, like the benefits, the features. Then you can offer like an incentive, like typically a 10, 12, 15% discount that works super well. And then you can handle maybe most common objections. Why do we want to handle objections? Because we know that they viewed the product and they didn't buy, right? There's no point of handling objections here when they haven't seen the product yet, right? Doesn't view product. It only makes sense if you do it here, right? So this is a very simple little process. Abandoned cart, it starts to get a little warmer, right? So this is where you have maybe one extra email. Actually, there are 4, 3 to 4 typically works. Reminder about product that left in the cart, right? You typically have, we can only hold on to your cart for so long. So you start adding a little urgency and scarcity to your offer. Then email 2 is offer incentive, same thing, social proof. You want to get them through the funnel and say, look, it worked for other people, you should do the same. And then there's an urgency factor, and then we add like 24 hours left to claim the offer. And then here in email 3, maybe you also want, social proof. I mean, like reviews and testimonials, UGC content within your emails works super, super well. And this is how it works in the abandoned cart. Now let's move over to the hottest phase, the abandoned checkout. Adds to checkout but doesn't purchase. 4 emails, same infrastructure, same structure, remind about the product and checkout, right? We don't know how long they'll stay in stock. Say something like this, add urgency. Once again, reduce risk for purchasing, why our products are trusted, right? Specific reviews about products and checkout, increase perceived chance of success with the purchase, right? Number 4, offer an incentive, introduce urgency. this is like the final stage. Like we have to do everything that we can to make sure that they go over that step in the funnel and they actually purchase. Let me know if you have any questions about this in particular, but this is, in my opinion, like the most interesting. This is where you get the most money, where most of your revenue is going to come from. People, to convince people to buy. This is where it, the entire ecosystem operates under. If you don't have this, then you don't have the post, right? So let's talk about post-purchase flows. There is customer thank you. Immediately after they buy, we want to welcome people into a community, right? We don't want to just do nothing. There's the worst thing you can do is just have them receive the Shopify confirmation you received your order and then nothing happens. You want to make sure that you're following them until they get their product, because once again, people decide to buy from brands also because of the experience, right? And the support, right? If you don't provide that, then it's no good, right? It's no good. So email one, thank them, offer VIP for third-time purchasers. Remove buyer remorse, right? There's always going to be a buyer remorse. If I buy the product today and I don't receive like emails within the next 3, 4, 5 days or whatever to update me about the shipment, the delivery, whatever, I'm going to have buyer remorse. I might charge back. I might, call and panic or whatever. Higher tickets, right? If you don't do the sequence, you're going to have higher tickets and then your customer support team is going to go crazy. So make sure you have these automations. Number 4, show how to use the product. Educate. Number 5, if relevant, offer upsells, ask for a review. If it exists, offer a referral system. And this is kind of like a flywheel effect. We want to do this for a sequence, right? Obviously, this is not immediately after they buy the product. It's throughout the journey of buying the product. So, of course, we're not going to offer a referral system right after they buy. They have to try the product first, validate that it works for them, that they're satisfied, and then you can worry about doing, things like this. But once again, stop through the video and feel free to stop through the video to look at each sequence. Customer win back. This is an interesting one. Hasn't purchased in 90 days. We typically do between 90 and 120. 90 is better in my opinion, since last purchase. So we want to get them back into the funnel, and this is purely dedicated to having them buy more of the same product, right? Or a different product, an upsell, a cross-sell, a downsell, right? As you can see here. Best sellers, offer an incentive, we haven't heard back from you, urgency, like these are the things that we want to add to make sure that people come back and you win the customer back again, right? So sunset engage, this is an interesting one for people that haven't opened an email in the last 180 days. So these are like kind of coldish people. And so this is kind of like a 4 email sequence. Haven't heard from them, still haven't heard from them. This is what we stand for. We'll go ahead and unsubscribe you. Like this is where you're like, okay, if you don't want to hear about us anymore, we can just unsubscribe. And then here you can add some social proof. You can do anything that you can to make sure that they come back into the funnel and they gain interest in your brand. But if they are not interested, this is a perfect scenario of a campaign that allows you to understand who is not engaging with your brand and just let them go, because you want to send a bunch of emails to people that are just not interested. It's also just going to hurt your domain. If they mark you as a spam or they just unsubscribe, it's going to hurt your deliverability and domain. So we always want to segment. These are very well segmented automations. VIP flow, they make their 3rd purchase and become VIP. So if they purchase 3 times, they're like hot customers. And so this is where, they have special, you can go ahead and add special deals for them, special bundles, special offers. You gotta treat them well. And these are like your customers that are very engaged. So I would also maybe do more than 3 emails, just to make sure that you keep that engagement as high as possible. But yeah, in this example, we have 3. Talk about VIP perks, what happens when they become VIP customers, incentive, reminder, and also, once again, if you have that referral system, these people are amazing because they're loyal. They purchase 3 times from you, right? Or yeah, their 3rd purchase, and so they're ready to refer you to their friends and family. Okay, so this is overall the infrastructure, post, pre-purchase. This is the flow of the journey, as I said before, and these are just some email campaigns, just to give you some ideas, right? Email campaigns, how many do you have to send? This is a question that I receive every single time. Is it 1 a week? Is it once a month? We typically do between 1 and 2. If you're starting out, one a week works. Eventually go to 2, sometimes even 3 times a week. The most important thing here is that you segment, right? You don't want to send all these emails, like you got to segment these. If you don't segment these, then as soon as you send an email campaign, it's gonna, like, people are just gonna go crazy. So when you send also email campaigns, make sure to segment your list, because if you send an email campaign to somebody that doesn't, want to hear what you're about to say, or like read your email, then they're gonna unsubscribe, and the same thing is gonna happen. Your email deliverability is gonna go down. So segment, okay? So these are just some ideas: product launch, current events, testimonials, case studies, bundle email, right? If you're doing a special bundle, blog posts. These I love, because the more you go with informational based emails, the higher the chance that people are actually excited to read your next email, because they're consuming your content and they're interested, right? And so I always like to say, if we're sending 2 to 3 email campaigns per week, we better provide value, because if we don't provide value, people will just mark you as spam, and the same thing is going to happen as before. They're just going to unsubscribe. So I'd like to do 80% value and 20% promotion. Okay, if you do more than 20% promotion, people are going to feel it. So you got to take a step back. If there's a sale, right, this is the 20% that I was talking about. Breaking myths, honestly, yeah, I'm not sure what this is. It's like maybe myths of the, I gotta ask my email marketer. Tips, emails, holidays, like listicle mail, sharing blog posts, listicles, articles, collection feature, educational content, review campaign, giveaway, the villain email. I'm not sure what this is. I have to ask. FAQ mail and newsletter. Once again, I haven't built this. I have a team that does this for me, but I'm just showing you the entire email marketing infrastructure that most of my clients do to get results like this, okay? And this is the most important thing. Welcome to module number 7. This is where we will discuss omnipresence. And one thing that I want to start off saying is that omnipresence alone is not a hard or complicated topic, but I just want to share what we have done and how we look at omnipresence, especially when we scale to multi-7 or 8 figures in sales, okay? I hope you enjoy, and let me know if you have any questions. Let me actually explain this. Now, as you can see here, this is a workflow, right, of your entire sales process. So people go into your website, cart, checkout, whatever. I just wanted to show you visually how it works. And so what we want to do is that, obviously, to get people to the cart, to the checkout, we have to introduce people to the products and to the websites. And how do you do that? Well, we do that with running ads. And so what is typically going to happen within each workflow is that, or each brand, is that there are going to be some channels that are just completely going to outperform others. Okay, and so in most cases, social, like Meta or maybe TikTok or maybe Google, these are the most common ones. Sometimes even TikTok, it's gonna probably attribute like 60 to 70% of the spend. Okay, now the problem is that a lot of people, whenever they hit a cap, meaning that they're maybe spending 10, they go to 20, they go up to $50,000 in spend, and then they kind of hit a cap because of whatever reason. There's a bunch of reasons. It could be product, it could be the offer, right? But they never squeeze the juices and leverage the existing traffic in any way or in any other way. I also actually know companies that spend $50,000 a month and they're not even doing email marketing. And email marketing is a form of omnipresence, right? The idea of omnipresence, for those of you who don't really know what the term means, is that the goal is to make sure that whenever you capture or you get a lead, whether that's the subscriber or whether that's just someone literally goes on your website, you technically can retarget them because you pixel them with the Facebook pixel, the TikTok pixel. The omnipresent strategy is that you follow the customer or the potential customer wherever they go. And so it honestly, as you probably know, it takes on average 7 to 12 touch points per customer for them to, to actually see your brand before they decide to purchase. So they need to see on average 7 to 12 times the product, the company, read about your company, whatever, at least 7 to 12 times before they even decide to purchase. And so what this omnipresence workflow does is that it decreases the time that it takes for an average customer to actually buy the product, right? So we want those 7 to 12 touch points in the least amount of time possible, so that the sales are essentially, your advertising is more profitable, you get a higher return on ad spend sooner, right? Because all these reasons. Now, let's take a look at let's discuss what most people do. They find one channel that works, they scale it, and then they basically do nothing else. Email marketing included. If you're doing email marketing, that's great. You should expect 20 to 30% at least of revenue just coming from there. And once again, that is a form of retargeting, because whenever we get people to the website, we capture their information, And a lot of people spend time in their inbox because they work, because whatever, right? They receive other emails, and so adding that extra touch point will significantly increase your revenue. In fact, by 20 to 30%. So that is one thing. Another thing that people just don't do is add other platforms. I'll give you a perfect example. The perfect complementary platform to Meta is Google, because what happens with social platforms when you're doing prospecting is that they create additional demand, right? Google is a demand-based platform, meaning that if there's 10,000 search terms every single month, that's what you're gonna get. If you want to scale, you have to find other search terms, but the limit and the cap is way more limited. That's what I mean. It's way more limited than social. On social platforms, it's interrupt-based marketing, and so the goal of social platforms is to essentially create the additional demand that would have never existed, because you're creating that, you're interrupting people and showing them the product, and then you're creating demand. And so Google is a perfect complementary platform if you're scaling on Meta or TikTok or another social platform, to just add that extra retargeting or omnipresent boost. So whenever people see you on social, maybe you allocate 30% of your budget and start spending, I don't know, like 10K. If you're spending like, I don't know, if you're spending 10K on Meta, maybe you spend 2 or 3K on Google as well. And you allocate that budget towards retargeting people, doing some brand keyword search campaigns where you just recapture the demand, or you do display ads. And of course you do other types of normal ads as well for prospecting, but it's a great channel in combination with like a social channel, the Google, right? And so this is kind of like a more traditional setup. But if you want to go to the next level, and I'll give you a scenario, and by the way, like I'm talking about all these just for context. I have a bunch of case studies. I'm not going to show you anything now. I don't have anything ready. But if you're interested in seeing all of our case studies where I explain these concepts and actually show you the proof of companies that do 20, 30, 40, 50, $70,000 a day, just make sure to see my other YouTube videos. I share everything there. But point being is, I had a client where we were spending around $130, $100, $150,000 a month on like social platforms like Meta and Google. And by the way, you don't have, like, to achieve this, what I'm about to explain, you don't need to spend this much. You can also just spend like 5, 10, 15K, whatever. So they were spending 150,000, and what we decided to do at a certain point, we're like, why not also add these 3 retargeting platforms, right? So we added TikTok, we added Snapchat, we added Pinterest. And so Snapchat was the worst performing, whatever, but and so we decided just to turn it off. But TikTok and Pinterest really, really worked well. And we just spent an extra, I believe it was an extra 10% of the budget. So if we were spending 150,000 a month, we started allocating around $15,000 in budget towards Pinterest and TikTok. And TikTok was the best performer based on the two, because they give us amazing ROAS. But what we wanted to do there is essentially create a retargeting strategy. And what this comes back to the omnipresent system, right? We're getting people from Meta, we're getting people from Google, and now we're getting people also when they scroll through TikTok, Snapchat, and Pinterest, which is absolutely crazy. It's amazing. A lot of brands actually don't do this. And if you do this, add this extra omnipresent retargeting strategy, you're gonna have an extra competitive advantage over your competitors, because they're probably not even doing it. It's not like a huge thing, right? And it's very simple. These are like very simple, low-hanging fruit sales. So what ended up happening is that we started spending around $10,000 to $15,000 on TikTok and a little bit on Pinterest, and we were getting like 8 to 10x ROAS, like literally. And of course, like this is easier traffic because it's retargeting, but most likely we would have never gotten those sales if we were just stuck to email, Meta, and Google. Right? Sorry. And so this is what we did for this client, and it worked super well. And just to show you, like visually show you a representation of what you and of how you should treat a customer, is that once they are here, right? If they're here, right, you need to attract them with one of these channels. Let's just say it's Meta, right? So you get them with Meta. Once they get inside of your doors, you should make it almost impossible for them to get out of your doors. And when I say your doors, I mean your ecosystem. That's what I mean. Your sales process, right? It should be almost impossible for them to like opt out. Of course, if they want to opt out, they can opt out. But I mean psychologically, like wherever they go, you should be able to follow them. And oh, I'm gonna open up my phone today, and boom, they're gonna see your SMS. Oh, I'm gonna up Snapchat today. They're gonna see your retargeting ads. Same thing with TikTok. I'm gonna scroll through 30 minutes a day, and most people spend 30, 40, 50, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours a day on TikTok. And if you're not running any ads there, you're probably losing customers, right? Same thing with Meta. Sometimes for a client, we also spent 5 to 10% of the budget on Bing. Bing ads, guys. Like nobody's running Bing ads, and it was working really well for them. The ROAS was like 4 or 5x, and we were able to spend and get an extra 20, 30, 40, $50,000 in sales just because we were spending in other platforms. And also this really works well if you just have like organic traffic. Maybe you have an Instagram account that's just getting good traffic. It's also good to introduce multiple platforms, even if you're getting organic traffic. It doesn't have to be paid traffic, right? So if you're getting some sort of traffic on pixel people, so the first thing that you need to do, even if you're starting out, I advise you to set these pixel up from the start, from the get-go, because if you set up the TikTok pixel from the get-go, even if you decide to start running TikTok ads like 3 years from today, right, you're gonna get so much data, and the pixel will know who will add to cart, who will initiate checkout, and what person will actually purchase, like complete payment, right? And so the pixels are gonna get so seasoned that whenever you start launching ads, they're just gonna be it's gonna be really, really profitable for you. Trust me. And this is like this is actually one of the low-hanging fruits that we start implementing as soon as we onboard clients. To get quick wins and cash flow fast, we start implementing this omnipresent system, which doesn't really take a long time to set up, because you can just get your meta ads and your TikTok ads and transform them into like Snapchat or Pinterest or like Bing or whatever. And so you can do the same. So this is just a quick I just wanted to quickly speak about this fact, because a lot of people don't actually do this. So if you're in a position where you're spending some money on ads, or you have organic traffic and you don't know where to start to get an additional 10 to 20% extra sales by basically almost not doing anything, it's automatic basically, set up this flow. Trust me and thank me later. On a further note, feel free to book your strategy session with our team by clicking the button down below. In this session, we will audit your brand, come up with a custom plan of action, and then we'll explore the opportunity of potentially working together, assuming it's a perfect fit. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. It means a lot, and hopefully see you on the other side.